I don't hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
I'm gonna start off with a question, something we don't normally do. My question is, how often do you dumb yourself down? Anybody can answer first.
Yeah, I don't normally like think of it as dumbing myself down, but I do say this when it comes to in the Navy and it comes to doing my job as a damage controlman. I feel like I'm doing that because it's not everybody's job, to do some of the stuff or do damage control stuff. So I try to figure out ways to teach people something to make them understand it. So I kind of feel myself saying it in a different language instead of me saying it when I'm talking to another DC man. You know what I mean? I'm talking to another guy, kind of can okay, we speak in the same language. But when I'm talking to other people about it, it can get a little crazy. Or sometimes I try to um dumb it down to for sailors to understand it. Like it could be a policy, it could be a nav admin, it could be anything like that. Sometimes they just don't understand why we have to do it like that. And then you have to like explain it to them. Okay, this is the reason why we doing it. So, and it's kind of hard and complicated sometimes because these kids are way smarter than me, and they be trying to figure out loopholes and all type of stuff. So I have to really like get on my P's and Q's and making sure I'm explaining it to them in a way that they understand it. So I kind of feel like that's what I'm talking about. Never like I don't never like feel like even when I'm doing that, I don't feel like I'm dumbing it down for nobody though.
Did you ever read the 48 Laws of Power?
I started, I didn't finish it.
All right, so the first law, right, is like never outshine the master, right? I think that's the first law. You ever went into a situation like using that law as a point of reference?
I would say yes.
Yeah, that
Um, good. Well, yeah, I would say yes because I think, and this is something that I learned a little bit later in my Navy career, probably around about the 7, 8 year mark. You
Mm-hmm.
got to be aware of your audience. You got to be aware of your audience in a senior level of leadership, and you got to be aware of your audience below you with the junior level. And in terms of dumbing it down, as you were saying, Damo, you don't want to outshine your master. I had an older brother. I got an older brother who was in the Navy, and I think that was one of his biggest problems. Dude was smart as a whip. I'm talking about dude hitting like 70 something on the AFQT for qualification for the Navy. But
Mm-hmm.
his problem was he thought he was the smartest person in the room, or at least me knowing my brother. He has a tendency to feel like he's the smartest person in the room, and that doesn't always translate well when you're trying to build for yourself. And then at the same time, and I'm talking about with senior level of leadership.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
the bottom level of juniors, like Damon was saying, when you got to articulate yourself to them, they haven't been in long enough. They're not as well educated. They don't have enough experience to be able to understand, you know, correspondence at a level that you would.
Yeah.
If you read the instructions, if you understand the instructions, if you've been around long enough to understand the culture of your community, your rating community, or whatever. So you do got to kind of dumb it down. You got to dumb it down, and as an old saying that the old school folks say, right? You got to put it where the goats can get it.
Mm-hmm.
And no pun intended for the chief community, but you got to put it where the goats can get it. So, and this may segue to a whole other topic, but being a first class, I think that's the toughest level of pay rank, because you at that level where you got to manage your relationship with your chiefs,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying, and manage that expectation. But you also have to manage the junior guys below you to where you can get some motivated productivity out of them. So, in short, do you have to dumb yourself down? Politically, my answer is no. Don't dumb yourself down. Just make sure that you're within that margin to where you're feeding information to where everybody can accept it, get it, and get the work done. Non politically correct, yeah, dumb yourself down.
All right, so I got something I want to say, but I got a question for you. But I gotta ask you the question first, and then I gotta say what I want to say. Then I want you to answer the question. So
It's me
the
or
you, yeah, I'm talking to you, Chris.
okay.
So the question is, how many times have you sat with a chief of yours that you knew that you either knew more than, uh, had work ethic, like that you kind of knew you, for lack of a better term, better than, right? So all right, now here's my point. I don't think when we talk to junior sellers, we dumbing it down. So when I'm talking about dumbing it down, when I'm talking about, well, dumb it down is dumbing down the information. But when I talk about dumbing yourself down, I'm talking about submitting to, that law of power. Where it's like, if I'm talking to a 3-year-old, I'm not really dumbing it down. I'm giving a 3-year-old
Right.
palatable information that 3-year-old could digest, right? When I'm saying dumb it down, I'm saying I'm sitting in a room with somebody and I gotta present myself as a lesser version of myself so that this person doesn't get intimidated, offended, or whatever like that, right? Which again is a palatable thing, but if I come off too confident or I come off to whatever, it might seem arrogant, it might seem like it's not humble, right? And that's why I asked you that question about how many cheeses you sit in front of that you was like, yo, I'm like more talented than this person. Because a lot of times we get this humility thing and we like live and die on that, like humility, like in the Navy, like I gotta be humble. I can't say I'm better. I can't say I'm this. I can't say I'm that. So yeah, so back to my question, like how many chiefs, or have you ever sat in front of a chief that you was like, oh man, like, this is rough for me?
Um, I don't think I've ever really sat in front of a chief where I felt like this is rough for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that is because, and don't get me wrong, I'm following. Like I've had those experiences where, man, like how this guy is in charge of us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, right.
but it's the audience. Every chief isn't the same. You'll have a chief that's very technically, you know, skilled. He knows the job. He deserves to be there because he knows the job. But he might
Yeah.
not be as versed in leadership and management. And then you'll
Mm-hmm.
have a chief that may be good at leadership and management, but he might not be as well versed in the job. And
Yeah.
again, that's why I say being a first class is kind of hard because you have to manage that level. In terms of dumbing down for the leadership and not coming off as arrogant or, you know, smartest person in the room, um, that's a fine line that you got to walk because you got to remember who these people are to you.
Yeah.
We write our evals, but where do them evals go after we write them, right? Who's getting a look at them? You
Yeah.
know,
I think about that
we
a
are
lot
putting
too.
in awards, but who's submitting those awards? Who's going to these boards, sitting down and ranking us? You
Right.
see what I'm saying? If I'm in the room with my chief and we're in a briefing and it's my turn to talk, and I haven't had, and again, you got to know your audience. You got to have a good relationship with your chief. I am one of those type of people. I will over communicate. I will over
Mm-hmm.
communicate with
Yeah, yeah,
everybody. I
yeah. I
will over
believe in that.
communicate with my junior people. I will over communicate with my leadership. And the reason for that being is I don't want you to get blindsided at any point by anything. And to some points, it has been to a detriment at sometimes because, some people are like, I don't need to know all that information. Just tell me. All right, man, I just don't want you to
Mm-hmm.
get to a situation. But going back to the briefing scenario, if I'm going into a briefing with my chief and it's my turn to speak, I don't want to speak and say something to where my chief's leadership is looking at him, asking him a question, and he's looking befuddled like, I had no idea. I wasn't
Yeah.
aware. You know what I mean? So I haven't had a lot of chiefs that I I felt like I was better than. I've had some definitely that I felt like I was better at certain areas.
Right.
And this is just based off my time in the Navy and my experience. And, you just got to develop that relationship with them. And again, it's a game, right? It's a balancing act. It's a delicate
Balancing that.
balancing act. Like if I got a good relationship with my chief offline, then we online and we around other people, I'm not gonna dumb myself down, but I'm not gonna present myself like, hey, y'all know I should be the chief, right? Y'all,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna play that game. You know what I'm saying? Because it's again, like you said, man, you got to be palatable. It's got to be
Yeah.
palatable information. How you pass it on and how you communicate, and especially when you're in social settings, open social settings. So
Hey, so the balancing act thing you said, man, I really, really, I was thinking that the whole time you was talking because to be like transparent, man. Like I always think of myself as, I'm an electrician, and I fixed a lot of things in my career. I fixed a lot of things, but I would never say that I was a technical expert, right? I would never say that. So when I'm looking for like a first class, well, what I always hope to have is the technically savvy first class, somebody that's gonna like we gonna troubleshoot together, we gonna figure it out. He know what he doing, he know how to train the guys, or she know what she's doing, she know how to train the girls and guys. But I even no matter how many things I've fixed, like I can't say that I could sit with like a master electrician and talk like electrical, like kind of like technical lingo with that person. Now there's one thing that I think that I have that like works, all around the board, and I don't think anybody is gonna like out care me. You know what I'm saying? Like just that care mentality, like about everything. So whether it's 3M, whether it is something tech, like I might not know what the hell I'm looking at in this controller, but we not leaving this controller till we fix it. We might
right,
have a road ahead of us on the 3M boards, but I'm not stopping until we figure this out. We got sellers going through problems. I'm right there. I'm so a lot of that technical stuff is like kind of like shielded by the level of care that I really had. That's one thing, and I know my first classes listen, and they probably like nodding their head right now. But that's one thing that I can guarantee that's not going to happen is somebody is not going to out care me. Um, you can match it. I've had Devos match it. I've had first classes and junior sellers match it, but you not. And I love it when we meet there. You know what I'm saying? Because as in the Navy, as long as you care, you could conquer, anything. You could achieve anything as long as you care. You don't gotta really be technically savvy because we got manuals to, tell us all that
right,
stuff. So that's the big thing, the big transparent thing with me. Couple things being transparent. I don't know where the hell Damon is right. If you're listening, I don't know where the hell Damon is right now. He having some technical issues, but the train ain't stopping. I'm sick. I'm a little sick. So you're gonna hear the sniffles, you're gonna hear the coughs, but you're gonna get what you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So that's the second transparent thing. And then another thing is we do have a guest today. If you've been listening, the other voice you've been hearing is none other than EN1 Chris Sherow, right? Um, and honestly, this has been something that's been like in the making for a long time. So this all started with, man, I was a E5. That's crazy. You probably don't even know all this. But it started out back. I was an E5 and I made first. And at some point I had lost like 90 pounds, right? I lost 90 pounds. And I moved to San Diego. And my boy, Chris Robinson, who I'm sure you know,
yeah,
he was like, yo, you lost 90 pounds. I need to connect you with my guy who I guess at some point lost a lot of weight too and was like all about fitness. And I was on my right now I'm not at my best. You know what I'm saying? But I
don't
was
feel
on
bad. Me neither. Me neither.
but but I'm trying to get back. But I was on my grind. I was, all day, every day. Here's I need to link y'all up just on some fitness and stuff like that. And I don't think we ever linked on, fitness, but
Mhm.
just, I was seeing you doing your thing with your pod. me and Damon was blossoming with our podcast, and you know, we just started talking. I think it was the biggest interaction was right before the Fleet Temp Stalker episode, where I was trying to get some information, some questions. Master Chief had posted something, and you commented, and then we just linked. I called you. I think we spoke. We spoke either for like 45 minutes to an hour. Then I'm like, hey man, like I need you to keep us, grounded as far as where we need to be at, what we need to be talking about, and if we doing something wrong, check us, and just keep us, keep us honest, and from then on, every now and then we reach out. We keep. I guess we've been doing okay. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't really
Yeah.
had to check us. But we reach out, and we've been talking about doing some stuff. And I think we were supposed to do something last week, but here we are. So thank
Yeah.
you for joining us. And I don't know where the hell Damon is, but appreciate you being here. And we're gonna figure out where the hell Damon is.
I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Matter of fact, let me call him real quick. Hopefully, the audience can hear this.
What up, bro? I'm trying to come back in right now, man. My fucking hey, my computer. Dude, it was my computer. I don't think it was my internet, man.
All right, you gonna be good?
Yeah, I'm coming back.
All right, man.
All right.
Yeah, so we started out kind of like on a good topic with as far as dumbing down. And then you brought something up that I did want to go to next, and that is, what do you think the best rank in the Navy is?
Woo. um, I, I think the best rank in the Navy is the next rank, in my honest
Uh-huh.
opinion. It's a little oxymoronical to say that because obviously I'm not a chief, but I've always looked at rank structure. Well, I won't say I always. I think probably by the time I made E5, I started looking at rank structure in the Navy as, do I belong there? And when I say do I
Mm-hmm.
belong there, like what can I do at that next level? Like what am I seeing in the landscape? Like I tell this story every now and again, especially the junior sailors that don't really know what they want to do with their career in the Navy. Um, my biggest goal when I first joined, I just wanted to make E5 and get out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why. I had no aspirations of being a chief. I had no aspirations of being a first class. I had no aspirations of doing 20 and retiring. I came in, it was something about that E5 rate rank that I was like,
Mm-hmm.
man, that seems pretty cool. Let me see if I can do that, and then I'm done. Go out and be a civilian, go make a lot of money, go to school, whatever.
Well,
And
that's when E5s was like superheroes, right?
that's when E5s was the cool thing to be. You were
Yeah.
like a first class, but you weren't a first class, so you didn't have all that responsibility. You were getting paid good because you was getting BA8, so you got to stay out in town. You
Yep.
know, these guys was like the cool guys. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? The first class at the time was kind of like the chief. Nobody wanted to kick it with
First
the chief.
class was high court, man. That was high
Yeah,
court.
yeah. Nobody wanted to kick with those guys. But like I said, when I made E5 though, I was I came to shore duty after I made E5. I was working in the shipyard and we were top heavy full of first classes. And like these guys had collateral duties. Like the working environment was awesome. It was awesome. We came in by 8:30 in the morning. We was normally gone. Our latest day was 1400, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had like 6 first classes. All of them had collateral duties, and none of them really worked their collateral duties the way that they should have been working their collateral duties. And these guys were supposed to kind of be like our leadership, our LPO leadership, and it was like they was ducking and dodging that leadership stuff, you know what I'm saying? And we was kind of left to our own devices. We had a good group of people, you know what I'm saying, in terms of E5s and below. So, it wasn't like we really needed the supervision or oversight. But I was just looking at the first classes at the time, like, this is all it takes to be a first class. Like you was talking about the technical expertise. I think that was one of
Yeah.
the main things that made me not really care early in my career to be a first class or a chief. Because I'm like, man, you really got to know your job. There's a lot of responsibility and accountability on first classes. You know what I'm saying? As
Yeah.
technical expert, I don't know if I can do that. But again, as an E5, I'm learning my job a lot more. You know what I mean? So I'm developing that technical. And I'm like you. I'm nowhere would never say that I'm the best engineman in the world, but I'm certainly not gonna say I'm the worst. Like, I can hold my own as a first class, and I'm quite certain if I ever made chief, I would be able to hold my own from the technical level as a chief too. But I was just looking at the first class and like, this is it. This is what it
Yeah.
takes to be a first class. This is what it takes to be a first class. It's like, all right, you know, I think I'm gonna start studying a little bit more hard. I think I'm gonna start performing a little bit more better. And next thing you know, I made first. And then I was thinking to myself, what do you want to do as a first? Remember, I told you, you always got to look at that rank like you're supposed to be there, and you got to have purpose to want to be there. So I was like, well, what are first classes are there for? They LPOs. They supposed to be managing E5s and below. They supposed to be making sure that we're getting qualified, that all of our personal stuff is being taken care of, that our career is on a trajectory, whether we're staying in the Navy or we're getting out of the Navy, that our future is on a trajectory to where whatever we do, we're successful at doing
Mm-hmm.
it. And when I made first, that's pretty much how I, map myself out. My junior guys, I made sure that they were qualified. I made sure whatever personal stuff they had going on, I was able to support it. If I didn't have the answers, I made sure I could find somebody with the answers or, find the resource, to where they could get their situation resolved. And I look at the chief level the same way. I'm like, well, what's going on with first classes now? You hear a lot of first classes say, well, we don't have the authority that first classes used to have
Right.
back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we don't have autonomy the way first classes used to back in the day. You got to go to the chief for everything. You know, the chief is always on the deck plates with us, and I'm sitting here saying, well, back in my day, I'm dating myself like I'm old. Back in my day, first classes damn near was the chief.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on the deck plates with you, but like I said, you looked at that guy. He was a technical expert. You didn't want to be the first class because there was a lot of responsibility and accountability that he had, and he managed it very well. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at the chief rank as, well, if I make chief, how can I give back to the first classes to where they can start shining? You know what I mean? So, in short, to answer your question, what's the best rate in the Navy? To me, probably the next. Once you've identified why you want to get to that next rank, it's to me, I think that's the best rank. I
Oh
mean,
man,
you definitely get privileged as you move up, but
you always leave me with like two points, right? Like a question and a point. So my question to that, right, is where do you think that was lost at with the first classes? Right? When you talk about the first class was like the chief, right? I got a lot of
mm-hmm,
theories about where that was lost, including the fact that, chiefs kind of got pushed back out to the deck plates or whatever like that, like
mm-hmm,
pushed to be, active on the deck plates. But my second thing is this, and I'm not gonna say what I think the best rank is yet, but I'm gonna say this. Um, 2 points. One point. I'm leaving it out. I ain't gonna say my other point. It's too controversial. I don't feel like saying it right now. But my point is this: every rank you go up, you're not there, right? So I mean, you're not the rank below you. You left that rank, right? Which means, hey, if you listening, I'm sick. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sick. My voice is different. I got a cough. I'm sorry. And Damon has a Santa Claus shirt on for some reason. But all right. So I make chief. Now let me start out as a fireman. I'm a fireman. All right. When I become a petty officer, I'm gonna be able to do this and do this and do this and do this and have people that do this and do this and do this and do this. And I think I think I started on Work Center Soup as like either a fireman or a third. All right. So I'm a works in the soup. So my guys is, you know, this. All right. When I become a third, when I become a so now I'm a third. All right. When I become a second, and I ain't make my point yet, but I'm about to make it right here. When I become a second, I'm gonna have thirds that are doing the stuff that I was doing when I was a third. That never happens. When I become a first, I'm gonna have seconds that was doing the stuff that I was doing when I was a second. That never happens because it's not you. And like I said, there's one thing that I would hold to up against anybody is you're not gonna out care me, right? You're not gonna care more than me, right? So you know, as a first, like I'm leaving last, I'm, you know, doing whatever. When I become a chief, I'ma have a first that cares as much as I cared when I was and there's no offense to nobody that ever worked for me. Like, don't ever think that. It's just that you're not gonna get the duplicate you. You know what I'm saying? All right, when I become a senior chief, it's gonna be a chief that I could like it never happens. So you take whoever you are and whatever you have up to that next rank with you, and you don't go to that, you know, last rank. And that's the value in life and learning in the Navy. It's like being able to learn how to work with people that are not you. You know what I'm saying? How to assemble a team and complete a task. And that's the value in learning how to be a leader as well. Like, and not taking the puzzle and putting the pieces in, or taking a Rubik's Cube and just doing it, you know, just being able to watch your team, you know, blossom without you having to, you know, step in. But those are the things that, you know, you learn. And it's a hard lesson to know that when you leave a rank, you're not that. You know, when I left the ranks of like being a grunt, you know, it took a while for me to find a grunt that was like me. You know, you know what I'm saying? When I left the ranks of being a work center suit, it was times I came in to work on Saturdays on sea duty and shore duty as a work center suit, right? You know, when I left those ranks and I'm like talking to work center suits, like, yo, you know, you might have to come in on like a Saturday. They like, what? Like, nah. You know what I'm saying? So I learned that super early. So that was my statement. Hold on to that question because I want to see if Damon got anything, because we are
Yeah,
fortunate
I
to have
actually,
Damon's presence back.
yeah, man, I'm back, man. Had some, you know, some difficulties, but
Yeah.
I'm back. But yeah, you guys made great points, man. But Dumbo, to your point of outworking you and somebody's you, they're not you, right?
Uh-huh.
So to me that also mean is if they're not you, right, and then you have an E4 that you want to be the works in a soup, the issue is now is if he jacks something up, now your LPO may be like, hey, why are you not the works in a soup? Why you got this E4 being the works in a suit when you should be the works in a suit? So you got that domino effect that can happen also because they are not you. They're not going to put their work in on the weekends and do the things that you do. So you got to kind of like watch out for that. And that's another reason why it doesn't happen like that as much. But you also catch those people that do come in there and they want it and they want the power, they want the responsibility, but do they want to put the work in? Also, now to the best rank and all that stuff in the Navy, man. I I feel like is that until you get to like uh to chief, right? Until you get to be a chief, you have somebody you can go to, right? So if you was an LPO, right, of a division, you can jack something up in a way and you can go ask the chief,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
If you're a works in a soup, you can go jack something up, but you can go ask the LPO, right? But when you become the chief, ain't nobody else to ask.
Uh-huh.
Right, you can go ask somebody, but they may not be the technical expert. That's you could be the last resort, right? But if I had to pick a rank that was the best in the Navy, I will probably have to pick E3 and below, man. And
Why?
I'm gonna say that because I'm gonna give you my reason behind it. It's like when I say best rank, we ain't talking about money, we ain't talking about none of that stuff. I'm just talking about strictly coming to work every day. I don't have only thing I'm doing is a work center soup or whoever in charge of me gonna put my work list on the board. I ain't got to worry about no collateral duties. I ain't got to worry about none of this, all this old crazy stuff. Only thing I'm worried about on Monday morning, if I get all this stuff done, I can go home.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm worried about right now, right? At that point in time, that is what I am thinking about when I come to work every day. What does my work center suit? Now, my issue as an E3 and below is when my work center suit may not be that good and he may not have no work list for me. And now I got to stay there and just wait on somebody all freaking day.
Yeah.
You know, now I can get upset at that. But if I got a good work center suit, I come in to work every day. I do my job and I go home. That's the type of life I like to live, man.
But you're
You know
not
what I'm
getting a
saying? Do what I got to
bag
do
though. You
and get
ain't
up
getting
out of
no
that.
money.
But you're right.
What
I'm
money
saying you're
at?
not getting the bag. Now that's a whole different ball game. If you talking about getting the bag with me, you talking about getting the bag. I'm always going to be the highest rank. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? Like I want to get the most, so I ain't look at it as a money thing. You know what I mean? If I look at it as a money thing, I'm always want to be the highest rank. You know what I mean? Get more money.
Hey, Chris, you still remember my question, right? Where
Yeah,
did
yeah. When do I think everything shifted?
yeah? Don't answer in chat though. Don't answer in chat
Okay,
because I'm gonna say
okay.
what I think. I think the best rank is E5. You know, I think E5 is the best rank, man. Cause you getting a little bit of cheese. You know what I'm saying? I gotta use one of your words. Getting a little bit of cheese. You get into the
Yeah,
bag
get a little
just
cheese.
enough. You getting BAH now. It
Yeah,
ain't an E4/4 kind of vibe. You don't even gotta be married. You getting a nice amount of BAH. So you getting some money. And then you got the E4 and below. Like as far as they trust you, they respect you. You still got that ear, but you also have the capacity to get in the pocket of your first class, your chief, your Devo. You got enough, like you got enough in like in your ranking and in who you are to be able to do that at that point. And but the best part about it is you like really the last rank. That's like your last rank of judgment. You know what I mean? Like in my opinion, like you could still fuck up and put your hands up like, yo, I did not know at all. Like I messed up. Yo, I messed up. I'm sorry. I messed
Hey,
up. I'm
hey,
just
hey,
trying.
Damo, real quick, man. I never forget. I'm in Bahrain. I get frocked to first,
Uh-huh.
and my 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 chain, LDO, former ICC, dude pulled me to the side. He said, "Sherow, now you can't never tell me I don't know anymore."
Yeah, yeah.
That I don't know, that don't fly no more.
It's over,
yeah.
man.
That's facts, man.
It's
It's
over,
facts.
man. The
Yeah,
E5 is the last time you could do that. You make
yeah,
first, it's expected of you. You know,
yeah,
it's different. Like I talk to first class is different than I talk to E5 and if my E5 and
yeah,
below never knew this, like I talk to my first class is different than it's a more raw conversation. Like we get into it. It's more honest, it's more
yeah,
raw. I
Mhm.
really want
yeah,
your feedback. Let's go, let's talk. You know, E5 is you still are like a baby. You know what I mean? You still
yeah,
kind of like, you know, what's going on? How can we do this? And I feel like you got enough. You get enough grace to have power. You know what I mean? And that a lot of people don't understand what I mean about that. But like as a chief, as a senior chief, it's things you could ask for that is like, why the fuck would a chief or senior chief be asking me for this? To like a CO, a captain, an officer, something like that. Even in first class. But let an E5 ask. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
The E5 might be able to get it done, you know, and it
yeah,
might be progressive out of that E5. It might be like impressive. Like, damn, I got an E5 trying to be a leader. You know what I'm saying? But the moment you be a chief like that, I remember when I was an E5. I was every brief, every captain's whatever. I'm 30 questions. What we got? What we got? What we got? You know what I'm saying? As a chief, though, man, I don't like. It's not really too many questions I want to ask if I didn't already try to find a solution. You know what I'm saying?
out
As an
already. Yeah, yeah,
E5, as an E5, I ain't need a solution. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we making changes because I could ask the dumbest question at the all hands call that can actually make a change straight to the CO. You know what I mean? And we is making changes. So yeah, so for me, it's the E5. For me, it's the E5. But let's get back to that question real quick. Where do you think that we was talking about E6s, right? So if anybody listening and they kind of lost where it's talk about, we was talking about E6s like being like in this time they was like the celestials, man. We talk about like '07 through '09, you know, '07 through 11 through 12. E6s were like whatever senior chiefs probably get looked at like nowadays, in my opinion. Right? They was like the Celestials, man. But where do you think we lost that at?
I'm gonna say around about that time. I
Mm-hmm.
say '07, '08 is probably where you stop seeing the first class really have that authority, have
Do
that
you
autonomy. You know what
do
I
you think
mean?
it's
Have
only because I'm sorry to cut you, but do you think it's only because we were making rank faster? Or it's
I think
more
they
than
had
that?
I don't think that there's no one single thing that did it. I think there's a combination of things, and I think that's one of the major things that did it. Guys were making rank faster. You were seeing guys who weren't necessarily as qualified as they should have been in their rating community. You hear this all the time, especially with first classes. You saw guys who were getting they were getting more attention, in the boards based on collateral duties and
Mm-hmm.
awards and it wasn't about what they actually did for the guys. It wasn't about what they actually did for their divisions, departments, and work centers. It was more so about, who who looks the best. You know what I mean? Who can be politic the best. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and I tell people this in my opinion, and I don't want no chiefs to think that I'm being funny about this. I seen somewhere on social media where somebody had posted and said, uh, "Is it me, or does it seem like chiefs are doing more deck plate type work than what they used to back in the day?" And I thought about that. And I said to myself, well, yeah, I think that is an accurate assessment. You do see chief, well, at least in my experience here in the past 6 or 7 years, I think you have been seeing chiefs on the deck plates more increasingly, as to where 16 years ago when I first came in, you rarely ever saw the chief. It was
Mm-hmm.
really your first class you saw on the deck plates. And I had to think to myself, now, why is that? We were advancing so many first classes, the Chiefs, so fast before they even really had an opportunity to be battle tested in leadership in roles as work center supervisor, in roles as LPO. You see what I'm saying? And back to Damon's point, when you make chief, and please, I don't want nobody to think that I have an insight to what the Chiefs do, because I'm not one. But as a first class, we sit so close to you guys that we can kind of see it. You know what I mean? So back to Damon's point, when you make chief, when the captain's asking you a question, you got to have an answer. When your chief engineer, your department head is asking you a question, you got to have an answer.
Mm-hmm.
When you're first class, you still got to have an answer, but you have somebody there to help you find an answer before the big guys get it. And what I think is happening is these first classes been pushed to chief so fast that, again, they hadn't been battle tested. You see what I'm saying? They hadn't been battle tested in leadership, and now they have to go back and actually be on the deck plates with us to make
Mm-hmm.
sure they know what's going on, to make sure they got a good feel of what's happening with the guys. That way, when the captain asks them a question or the department head asks them a question, they not deer in the headlights. And going back to my comment earlier about the ranking thing, in terms of if I make chief, what I want to give back to the first class is their relationship. And I think the biggest disconnect is the relationship between the first class and the chief.
Man,
I
you
try to make
so,
sure
so you
where,
answering a question I was about to ask you. So go ahead. I just wanted you to know I was going to ask you that. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead. I'm
So,
listening.
so my thing is, if the first class got a good relationship with the chief, remember we're talking about over communicating. If I'm communicating with my chief and I'm saying, "Hey, chief, this guy has this personal issue going on. This young lady has this personal issue going on. This guy has this professional thing going on. I'm working on this with this guy. I'm working on this. By the way, we have this going on down in the space with this piece of equipment. We got a job in for this. We got. If I'm over communicating all this stuff to my chief, there's no reason for my chief to be in the space. The only thing my chief really need to do for me at that point is be that extra power when I need it, when I can't. Like when you said, Damo, We can't go ask things of the department
Mm-hmm.
head and the CMC and the captain and all that. When I really need the big guns to go in there and make something happen for my guys or for myself, my chief should be able to go in there and do that and do it confidently because he knows what's going on with my guys. Because he knows he can trust me to communicate with him.
Mm-hmm.
And when I need him to be down there on the deck place with me, he's down there. And I've seen some of it. I've seen some of it in this new era, but not as much as probably what it was back in the day. So to answer your question, where do I think it stopped? Probably 07, 08. Why do I think it stopped? Because we were promoting too fast. Guys had not been battled. I can give you an example of a guy I know who in 10 years jumped up to chief as an engineman, only been one sea tour on a carrier before he got to the pre-com. When he got to the pre-com as an engineman, spent no more than probably about 6 months in M division before he mess deck mastered on, came out of mess deck mastered on, went to A gang as an LPO with no A gang experience. But this guy is Sailor of the Year. This guy is now they send him to the Foundry Court. They're building this guy up. And now when we make this guy a chief, we're expecting this guy to lead.
Mm-hmm.
But where is that battle testing? In your
Yeah,
community. In the
yeah.
platform
I
of your
don't.
community of all places. So that's just my 2 cents on it. I hope I answered your question. I don't know
Yeah,
if I did or not, but
No, you did. I
yeah,
just took a note because I know Damon got something to say, but I got something to say.
yeah. Yeah, well, to that point, Od is that first class you got it as 10-year chief or whatever the case may be. I don't blame him.
you
You know what I'm
know,
saying? I most definitely blame people that's ahead of him, people who's writing his evals, people who's doing all these things to put him in that line, knowing he wasn't battle tested as we speaking about. Um, but it's not only first class not battle tested, man. It's chiefs not battle tested too. Believe
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
I'm
that's what.
telling you.
Yeah,
Trust me
that's
and
what he's.
believe me. It's some chiefs not battle tested out there. Making rank, promotion fast, and all that type of stuff. Now, when it comes to the deck play leadership, yeah, that came out a while. They want the chiefs to be more involved and all that type of stuff. But that came around, man, when we started doing stuff to make chief, right? And then you brought up a point, collateral duties, man. Like now your job is damn near below 50%
Mm-hmm.
that you need to know. Now it's more about those collateral duties and these other things that you have to do, and your job is not important. But my point that I try to make to my first class as DC and HTs and all these guys is that young sailors follow knowledge, right? They will go, if you know what you're talking about, if you know how you can help their career, they will follow you. They'll run through brick walls for you and stuff, right? But if you're not knowledgeable, those sailors will point that shit out so freaking fast. And then I will have my E5 knocking on my door, talking to me, trying to give me information. And I know the first thing I'm going to say, do DC1 know this?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But DC1 or HT1 or whoever probably already lost their respect. You know what I mean? So I try to talk to them like that and let them know, hey, you have to know this stuff. But also it comes from the big wigs up, putting these collateral duties more in the forefront. You know what I mean? Making these ladders, you know what I mean? Saying you need all these check marks, right? And then people don't know their damn job, right? Then you have all the old school people like these LDOs and all these guys. I don't give a fuck about collateral duties. But guess what? In today's Navy, if you don't give a fuck about these collateral duties, you'll be a first class a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You may be the most knowledgeable person in the building, but you'll probably be the first class for a long time, right? So you have to know how to adjust and know how to adapt and all that type of stuff. But I think we are trying to shade back a little bit towards your knowing your rate, though. I feel like people are talking about it a whole lot more than we used to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's coming back, man. But you're right, man. We got 6-year chiefs out here. We got guys that have no like, and then this is what kills me, man, about the whole thing is like you could be an E3 for your first ship, right? You transfer, you make E5, you transfer to shore duty. A lot of time when you E5 and you transfer, you may not have been the works in a soup yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
$100.
Then you
Yep.
go to shore duty, pick up furs. Now you back on the ship as the LPO
Yeah.
in the division. No work center soup experience. No, and you know, in our race being engineers, you gotta know skid. You
Yeah.
gotta know how to write jobs. You gotta know all this stuff. And you go back to the ship and don't have a clue. Now you done lost respect of your junior guys because your firemen probably out there writing jobs. Your firemen probably know skid and all this type of stuff. So now you done lost their respect. So it's a big deal, man. It's a big time deal. But that's why the Chiefs are going back to the deck place, because guess what? The captain only want results.
Yep.
Your chief engineer only want results. He don't care how he get them, right? He don't care if you down there. He don't care if I'm down there doing the maintenance, as long as the maintenance is done,
And see,
right?
Damon,
That's kind of
and Damon, I don't want to cut you off, but that's exactly my point. That was my point to why I believe we're seeing a lot of Chiefs going back to the deck plate. Look, you guys are not gonna go in a in a meeting with the captain. You guys are not gonna go, you know what I'm saying, meeting with the department head, and they get to asking y'all questions, and y'all don't know what the hell going on because y'all ain't been. So what do you have to do now? You have to be there. You have to make. Okay, I've never really managed scared before. I'm a chief. I've never really managed scared before. Let me go down here and take a look at this work center. Let me see how this
Yeah.
work center actually is supposed to be ran.
Yeah.
Oh no,
yeah.
EN1, we gonna do this. Chief, I don't think it's a no. We are going to do this. All
Yeah.
right, Chief, that's
Yeah.
and it goes back to what I was saying earlier about that balancing act when Damo was asking about the
Dumbing it
whole
down.
aspect of outshining the master.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have to play that delicate game to where, yeah, I probably know a little bit more about what's going on and what this guy do. But again, this guy writes my eval, or not write them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he's gonna edit my eval.
Yeah.
This is the guy that's gonna make the suggestion whether I deserve a nomination for a Sailor of the Quarter or not. This is the guy that's gonna submit the award, or at least if I submit my own award, he's the one that's gonna have some kind of input on whether I deserve to get it or not. You see what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that we're going back to kind of a little bit of the old school way to where a lot of the accountability of the deck plate is put on. But and this is my other piece to that. Because the Chiefs are having to come back to the deck plates, and I don't want to make this look like I'm bagging on Chiefs, which is why I have to say this. It's watering us down as first classes too. First classes are not performing the way first classes should be performing. And I'm not using that as a blanket statement to my peers in no way, because I know a lot of great first classes that's really putting it in and really busting their ass and doing what they got to do. And they are making some incredible junior sailors into senior sailors, you know what I mean? But there are a lot of us out there that are not really performing the way we should. You
Yeah.
see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So
I agree. Go
the
ahead.
point that y'all both made that I don't want to get too far away from, I'm gonna make a point. I believe that Chiefs, they tell us to um, cling, be they always push it like, yeah, your divo should be attached to your hip when your divo first support, and keep your divo around and stuff like that. And I just want to make the point that like Chiefs are making sure that whenever we are able to, that we defer our divo to our first classes, our second classes, right? And I say that for a reason, right? I say that because we always say this, like the way, and I believe in that purity shit. I do. I believe that, like, you're your Divo's first impression, meaning that your Divo, when they become a captain, they gonna remember that experience, right? And they usually talk to us about that when it come to like setting a good impression on your Divo, so they don't think Chiefs are bad or enlisted sellers are bad. So when they become a captain, they could be a good captain. But think about this. If I'm a chief and I introduce my Divo to my division, and my Divo is only always around me, and my Divo only connects subject matter with me, work ethic with me, being able to step up in times of hard time with me. When that Divo moves on and becomes a captain, when the going gets rough, who the Divo gonna think to call? The Divo gonna think to call the chief. Well, who that captain gonna think to call at that point? A chief. Like, well, when I was running in divisions, it was the Chiefs that was the ones that was the go-to guys when it counted. So whenever we can, I believe we should defer our devos to our first classes. And if we're not doing that, make sure that the first class is being able to get a devo training and being able to kind of teach the devo stuff and stuff like that, as while the devos still remain in that authority in that division, because that's what the division officer is there for.
Hey, I wanna add a couple things. Hey, for Chris, man, that communication piece that you talked about earlier, man, I wish all my first classes had that shit. First of all,
Yeah.
I want to say that, man. That's how you want to lay it down. But that's how you get back to it, though, right? And I'm gonna say this, man, is levels to this shit, right?
Yeah.
Right. When I say this, I'm gonna say it like this: if my first class or whoever I got working working the guys and giving me this information, communicating with me, if they can't do it correctly, right? Because I'm always gonna have to report to somebody or update somebody on something. So if I'm not getting that communication, what's gonna happen is, and I have done this before, where before I go to quarters, I have had my first class in the office. We talked about what we're gonna do today. I have had at 11 o'clock, we're gonna muster. I'm gonna have my first class come talk to me until I know what's going on. And then before they get off, they're gonna come talk to me and find out what's going on before we leave for the day. That's what I mean by levels. Now, if I'm confident in my guy, he ain't got to worry about that. He's just gonna keep me informed. He's gonna stop by anytime and do his thing, right? That's what I mean by levels. So it's levels for me. If you don't do it, this is how we gonna do it. If you do it, you good to go, right? But I will never take the legs under my first class. I want them to be great, man. I wanna, to do all to do all, right? But I'm gonna help them too, though. You know what I mean? I'm gonna help these guys get to this level because everybody don't have the same background. And what Domo said earlier that I learned later in my career, everybody is not me. You know what I mean? And that is so. And look, I learned that late as hell in my career because I used to always say, when I was a first class, I did it like this. I used to tell my other first classes this, right? And then one day, my first class, one of my guys said something to me one day, and he didn't say I'm not you. He didn't say none of that to that effect, but it made me think about that though.
Yeah.
Like, you know what, man? Like these guys are, different from I am. They and not saying that's a bad thing. They just got new ways of doing things.
Yeah.
The way I do things is not gonna be the way. As long as we get the same goal, we good to go. But Chris, I want to just want to step on that a little bit more, man, about that communication piece, man. I think that's the biggest disconnect between everything, is that communication piece where I don't have to come to the deck place as much. The only thing I want to really come to deck plates for is to learn to know my sailors and let them know I got their back, having good conversations about what you do last night or what you doing this weekend and all this type of stuff. You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff I want to come down into the deck place and talk about in training. Right? We have any kind of train. Man, I love that. We got training set up. You get me down there in the room with them. And I love talking about stuff like that and leadership stuff like that. But the technical stuff, I expect the first class to run with that shit.
And let me ask you guys a question. Being chiefs, do you guys ever notice or ever get a feeling that sometimes the first classes that you guys are in charge of, and this is to the communication piece, do you get an impression that sometimes some of these guys are scared, or they act a little timid to communicate with you?
Yeah, most definitely. But that's where like my first, let me say it like this. Like, I'm talking about me when I say this is my guys know, like, I joke with them. But when I'm joking with them, it's more to make them more comfortable to come talk to me. Right. So that's my first thing, is I'm gonna make them more comfortable to come talk to me, because you're right. People see rank and they get a little shy, they get a little this and that. But I want them to be comfortable when they come talk to me. And there's things I do, the way I act and stuff like that. But they also know when shit hit the fan, they gonna be in, and we call my little spot 5 alpha. If you be in 5 alpha for the wrong reason, it could be some problems. But other than that, they can come knock on the door anytime and we can bullshit around. We can come talk shop stuff. We can talk personal stuff. So if you don't have that kind of relationship already, man, guys they gonna hold stuff back. They're not gonna tell you the whole thing. It's all type of stuff because they don't know who you are.
Right.
right? And there's one thing I used to talk about when I'm talking to first class is being consistent, right? As a chief, you want me to be consistent so you know who I am, right? Every day. So if I go tell, chief this stuff, I know what I'm gonna get. If you're
Hmm.
not consistent and I might blow off the handle about something, you don't want to come talk to me. I don't know what chief may think, but being consistent, man, help you communicate with me more.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Damon was saying. I totally connect with everything that Damon was saying. I think trust is a big thing. I think trust is a major
Yeah,
thing that a lot of
yeah,
people downplay, and so it's built. You know what I mean? Like as much as we think you come in with it and all of that, and your rank, it's built. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen a first class not trust me and then develop trust and the relationship change. I've lost trust from people, I've lost trust for people. um and you see those relationships. So I've been where I saw like a first class not want to tell me something to a first class feeling like they could tell me anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird. It's kind of weird with me and Damon because we like more of like personable kind of people. And I know that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's different when it come to the things people could say. I think like a lot of people still like your first class might not want to give you the egg in the face story. You know what I mean? Like if they were doing great, if we doing great, we all home runs, all home runs. Then that moment that we don't hit is kind of. I had one of my first classes, alpha, real alpha. But whenever it was bad news, and and he had something to do with it, he never really shied away from saying it. But he would first he'd be like, "Yo, chief, I fucked up. We fucked up." But it was a different tone when he delivered it. But I knew he wasn't like scared to say it. It just
Hmm.
came with a different tone. And I think when my first classes broke down to me that they weren't, because I had two when I was on a ship. And when they broke down to me that they wasn't me, the same conversation that Damon, because I was, a young chief with two first classes. But the same conversation Damon's saying, like they had to tell me, like, yo, and I think another one of my sellers told me, like, yo, they don't like it when you say that when you was a first class, this, that, that. But after they broke
Hmm.
that down to me, I think, and it really humbled me. And then one of my first classes told me, he was like, "Yo, you just be talking." Like you said this to me. Like we was talking. He was like, "Yo, you just be talking like crazy." You know what I mean? Like, and I translated that to like, I translated that to like, "Yo, you talk like you can't get hit. Like you talk like you can't get punched in the face." You know what I mean? And that's how I translated it. And I thought I've been punched in the face before. You know what I mean? And that was one of the biggest lessons of my life. You know what I'm saying? I learned the difference between what I'm comfortable saying, um, and what I'm not comfortable saying in relationship to what I'm prepared to do if after, you know what I mean? So when that first class told me that, it brought me to a level of like, damn, like, yeah, what I want this to be the conversation or whatever
Right.
like that. But then it got to a point, I think we went through every level. So we went through the learning level, we went through the level where the first class expect me to like fly off the handle, and I actually did. Then we went to the level where my first class know this is something that chief would have flown off the handle for before, but I didn't. And then like we both just sighing and like disappointment or whatever. So and then like it's just a love connection. It's like a whole. I hope we answering your question. You know what I'm saying? But it's like a
Yeah,
whole love connection. Like when my first class come in, like, "Hey, chief, we really like we fucked up," and I'm like, "What happened?" And but we in it together. And then
yeah,
that's what I mean about trust, because we all got the same goal. You know what I mean? So if you fail, I fail. If I fail, you fail. So that's a trust thing. But I don't want to leave. Did we answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It answered, and it was a question for me, but I know we speaking to an audience, so I want to speak as if my peers, you know what I'm saying, can have it, you know what I'm saying? Because I noticed that with some guys that are first classes that are sitting in the LPO position. I mean, we have to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
And like you
yeah,
say, Damo, like some of them conversations aren't going to be really great conversations because it's either we bringing bad news to you or it's something that we done dropped the ball on. But at the end of the day, like Damon was saying, communication is the biggest part. And so I just wanted to know from you guys' perspective, like, because you guys, a lot of what you guys do depends on us as LPOs.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Yeah.
get that feeling with some of us? That
Yeah.
man,
Well,
why does this guy act so timid? Why always got? Because you know how it is. You got a junior guy that works for you. You ask for information, and they giving you the vagueness, or they not giving you what you know. It's not the full story. You know, it's more to. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
why is this guy not communicating like he needs to communicate with you?
It's
And
because they don't
I
trust us.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's because they don't trust you. If you don't communicate with you, if for your guys that's listening and anybody and that, if ask yourself, do you really trust your chief? You know what I mean? And that's probably what it is. I think about it because you brought up a point, and I don't want to get away from it. But it all this kind of ties in together. We just hit the hour mark, and I don't even think we hit no topics, right? But all this kind of ties in together, right? So you brought up a point about you said something that I appreciate hearing you say. You was talk about this the person that's right in my eval, this the person that's right in my award, this the person, right? When I think about that, and I've been thinking about that recently a whole lot. Like, is nobody more surprised at the eval debrief than the first class that Chief been telling them that they was fucking up for a whole year straight? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you like, and that's what I mean by trust them. Like now you at the eval debrief and you looking over, like, damn, I'm at a P. Well, what has Chief been now? If you a Chief and you ain't been communicating this, you're messed up. You know, you should do better. But if you're a first class and you've been hearing your chief say something about you need to get better with this, you don't have this, grab this by the handle, put your foot on the gas with this. I'm tired of getting late stuff. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. And you like just thinking that like chief just bitching or is going in one ear and one out and out the other when you go and you thinking you could work around it, like, yo, I'm gonna get the guys to do that. I'm gonna get like, yo, if you're not listening and taking heed to what that chief was saying, don't be surprised at that eval debrief when you
Yep.
get an eval that you don't like. Cause a chief, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, I'm not throwing my hands up at no eval debrief like it ain't on me. You know what I mean? If you got now, if I thought I had you at an EP and then you came down to an MP, or I thought I had you at like something different. But if you like bottom P, I had something to do with that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? If you were bottom P, I was a part of that. I'm not going to no eval debrief that I can't. Me and Damon been in eval ranking boards, debriefs, all that stuff, all that stuff. I'm holding my own. You know what I mean? But and then even outside of me is still, you know, the command. And you now that's another thing, you know what I'm saying? Your presentation of who you are from your chief to the command, you know what I mean? So like you said, a whole lot has to be put into that relationship between first classes and chiefs. And damn, I think that's kind of like the pseudo theme of our episode, but a whole lot got to be put into that, like massage, like a whole big effort, you know, of like talking, trusting, being able to gel together, being able to listen to each other, both of y'all talk, being able to trust that change can happen. Cause that's another thing. Like, I hope I ain't making too many points and got y'all minds racing, but people don't trust change. You know, I used to sit with all my first classes and be like, yo, tell me how I'm messing up. Tell me what I could do better, you know? And if they don't, like, I'm like, yo, tell me. I'll be so emotional, man. Hey, damn, I'll be so emotional too. Like, yo, tell me, man. Like, what can I do better? This is the time to say it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people got that thought, like, even if I tell you, it ain't really gonna change. That's them other people that you used to. I'm sorry, but that's them other
Yeah.
people you
Oh,
used to mess
that
with.
used to get me fired up
Yeah,
right there.
that
That get
ain't
me
me.
fired
That
up.
ain't me. Let me
That's not me.
know. We gonna put that effort in and make that change. And then if I start backsliding, let me know. Like, yo, chief, you told me. Me and my EN1, we had an issue. I'm done after this. I'll let somebody else go. But me and my EN1, we had an issue that it was a gradual thing that was happening. His timing was like his timing was perfect to him when it happened, but it was imperfect to everybody else, including the junior seller. But we had an issue where he was doing things sometime that I ain't agree with. And publicly, I would not agree with it, right? So it'd be a serious thing, right? That I would publicly disagree with. Then every now and then it'd be like me and Damon kind of saying we fuck around, we joke. So every now and then it'd be like a joke thing. But he like eventually when these things start adding up, it don't matter if you joking around or you not joking around. You know what I mean? So I think one time something happened and it was more than, I don't even know if it was specific. It was a couple things that happened and I'm addressing a division, but I'm addressing like one of the things that it was him who did. And you know, some things that it was, you know, other people, and he flipped like right there, you know, and we talked later. He's like, yo, Chief, man, like you're not like, it's, you know, you're not going to keep, you know, how people be talking. He's like, you keep on like, putting my stuff out in front of the division. Like all of us got to learn, you know what I mean? So this is me, you know, this is just me just taking ownership. Is that you keep on talking about things that, you know, and I'm like, well, he like, well, why? I'm like, well, I feel like it's a blanket thing that everybody need to know. Like, it's not like, you know, but he like, yo, this is my stuff. And really what it's doing is it's taking away from how people look at him, and it's adding to how, you know, are kind of, you know, reassuring how people look at me, but it's not helping him at all, you know. And I'm like, damn, like, yo, how come you ain't tell me this earlier? It's things that I like honestly like don't even really know I'm doing, because we just got like a family kind of vibe, and I'm super transparent. So when he told me that, I'm like, all right, I need to watch what I say. You know what I'm saying? And from that moment on, I did it. Like I took strides. Like I didn't really do the jokes no more. If it was real, you know, serious stuff, it didn't happen. And then our relationship just blossomed from, like, we still communicate, but our relationship just blossomed from there. But if he didn't take the time out to tell me that because he didn't think I would care, listen to him, or he didn't believe that I could like do something different, whether I felt like I was right or I felt like I was wrong, I changed that shit. And then our relationship took a whole nother turn because he was able to trust me and he was able to see that I could change.
Yeah, I think yeah we might have whipped this one to death, but I think the biggest takeaway is that relationship between the first class and the chief and the communication. You know what I mean? And I think the we can turn this ship around and kind of course correct if we continue to make sure that that relationship is strong, is good. The first class can go talk to the chief anytime. The chief can depend on the first class and know that the information that they get is going to be enough to make them, you know, look good. You know, when they talking to the senior folks, that relationship piece is the biggest to me, the biggest
Yeah.
takeaway.
Be honest, no matter how brutal, you know, no matter how brutal it is. All right, all right, all right. So we got to get out of this, right? I like this, man. This was a great topic, man.
That's why we do this right here, man. It's good.
Yeah, yeah. This, I mean, you know, you can't write this. You can't make this up. All right, so let's get to some fun stuff real quick. I got an article pulled up. I don't even know if y'all tracking this, right? Engineer, Navy warship fire might be electrical, not arson. Did y'all see that?
I didn't see that one, but I did hear somebody came out and said something about the truth, but I ain't hear that.
Yeah,
Is that the
well,
is that the Bonham?
yeah. So, well, you got the one dude who initially,
Say he saw him.
yeah, but he initially said, I don't know if it was him.
He didn't.
He
Yeah.
wasn't trying to snitch, right? Like in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was him. And then I guess, you know, it's like big news, big time stuff. His conscience probably weighed on him. He like, nah, it was him for sure. You know what I mean? So that's the one story you talk about, right? Because they starting the
Yeah.
proceedings. Nah, but this says an electrical engineer who examined the BHR after it was destroyed by fire last year testified Wednesday that it might have started with a faulty cable. Come on, EMs. While a former federal fire investigator said he also found no data to back the government's finding that it was arson. And this off military.com.
Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo.
Jeez.
Let that man free.
I don't know.
Let that man
I want to start
free.
screaming that.
Me either.
It says,
But hey, that's hey, at the end of the day, man, like they having it on base, man. So this whole thing, I'm in San Diego. So this whole thing, man, they've been like shutting certain parts of the base down and all type of stuff with this guy having this his hearing that, man. And I tell you, man, we live by the facts though, man. You can't go in there and go in on this cat without having them facts. Like all like especially in this big of a
It
case.
says
Gotta have,
Andre Thorson was hired by the defense attorneys representing a junior sailor accused of setting the fire aboard an amphibious assault ship. He told a military court during preliminary hearing that he found highly combustible lithium ion batteries with their caps blown off and a copper cable with a melted in the engine of a forklift, indicating it may have sparked a fire. He says they cannot be eliminated as a source of fire. He's examined 3,000 fire scenes as a forensic electrical engineer.
got a background to follow. Woo-hoo. That's what I'm talking
Yo, that's
about, man.
crazy. Like that's like all the new findings in the Megan Tory
Yeah.
case. Like that kind of,
It's gonna get more crazy than that, man. It's gonna get crazy.
yeah,
I
because
used to
now
say
we
this-
starting to get information.
I used to say this
Yeah.
all the time. Those in-serve inspections, the stuff that's supposed to go out to the public for the tax dollars to justify the tax dollars that we get. If people only knew sometimes, like what the condition of the material is, and then when you get people from the outside to actually do this on a civilian level, and they can translate, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, it's like how them in-serve reports really looking is going out. Because the bottom is an old ship, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I had this conversation, man. I don't get to like pointing fingers and stuff like that, man. But I do say this, man. If they had like a lot of petroleum products, anything in one space, man, hey, that's a no all the way around, though. I mean, in any Navy ship, I'm talking about any Navy ship, you can't just put that stuff in like any location, like and then. To be honest, man, I know I'm probably gets a little backlash from this though. Even the fire safety people that come on board and walk those ships where you're in the yards every day. You know what I'm saying? Every day they grab the fire marshal and they walk the ship. Every day they do this. Every day. So you telling me that you saw this and the ship said, yeah, that's what we stored at and that was okay? No, that can't be okay, man.
Damon.
Yeah.
How many reports that shit was in? You know what I'm saying? That can't be okay.
Damon, they are supposed to be walking with the fire marshal and making those hits and correcting those. Now, how many times have you been in the shipyard?
No, I'm saying that, hold on. I'm saying that because they used to be on my ass.
Yeah.
They used to come to the quarter deck and they used to ask for my fire marshal. Hey, do the fire marshal lay the quarter deck. And they used to come on board and do this shit.
You know why
and that's
they
why
do
I'm
that,
like,
though? You know why? Because
Why?
it's supposed to get done. So it's like a check in
Yeah.
the box, man. Like as
Yeah,
long as
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
most
if it's like so the BHR was commissioned in 1998, 15 August 1998, right? But it's like a check in the box, man. It's like if, for instance, it's like, hey, you could telework for 5 days a week, but you every day you need to call at 11, 15, and 17 and check in and speak to somebody. Man, them people adamant about that phone call. 11, 15, 17, 11, 15. This is what I have to do. I'm doing it. And that's some of those people that come in. Some I mean, some safety inspectors, yes, but every ship, all the time.
And then we talking about the bomb horror shot too. How big that motherfucker is.
Yeah.
DDG, you go to DDG, you could go to that thing in 30 minutes, man. Walk around, you good.
Yeah. And you know how some watches went, we're not going to act like somebody might not have gun deck they third round or they second round.
Yeah.
People be like, people got that rule to, I'm going to do a good first round, I'm going to do a good last round. So when you got an inspector on a ship.
Watch out, Dumbo. Watch out now.
But that's what people do. When you got an inspector on a ship Monday through Friday, Thursday, Sunday morning, he's like, this ain't probably changed much since Saturday.
But let me ask y'all a question. This happened on the vehicle storage in the vehicle storage area, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think so. Yeah,
I get it. The bottom is a big ship, but there are some space locations you just you see what I'm saying. And the V is one of them locations that if you noticing there's some oily rags laying around, fire hazards. You know what I'm saying?
That's
a big miss. That's a big miss.
I hate to say this, but sometimes when people get into their negligent bag, it don't matter the weight, the cost, the how much they know about what they being negligent about. They just now we being negligent, like, and it
Yeah.
don't. And I don't know if it was a case of that, but sometimes that happens where it's like, man, it is what it is. It's like when people be stealing, like from like a job or stealing from somewhere. It might have started with a customer left their change, and then it goes into I'm voiding out purchases. Then it goes into I'm just ripping this 300. Then it goes into dag, the owner's here. I'm still about to slide some money in this situation.
Yeah.
So when people start getting into it depending on what happens or what happened, it's moments where people just be negligent, man.
Yeah. I agree, man.
Yeah, but
I agree totally. But yeah, I mean it's investigations, so I mean we just out here throwing out all these fucking accusations like whatever. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
But when I find it, when that report come out, I'm gonna be on y'all ass, Mr. Postman. Remember that
a
shit.
whole lot is gonna unfold though. All right, so
Yeah, it
I
is.
was talking about teleworking, right? And I don't know if this is everybody, but what do y'all think about snow days if teleworking is in effect? Should people still? I know you in San Diego, sunny San Diego. I don't know when the last time you saw snow, but
Yeah.
do you think people should still get snow? What a snow day used to be was a place like Philly, Maryland, New York, wherever it's cold at and snowy and stuff, not San Diego, of course. But what a snow day used to be was you wake up in the morning, like 7 o'clock, you see schools closing. You might see, jobs, being told you got come in 2 hours late, whatever. Your command call you like, yo, you don't got to come to work. It's inclement weather or whatever. And then you had an off day. You was at home chilling, right? But I could see it's a lot of commands now going to where if you telework, then that snow day, that don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Take your laptop home and then you telework it. Or you need to take leave if it's inclement weather, right? What's y'all take on that?
Hey man, this is crazy right here. What I'm hearing right now, man, it's crazy. So I'm trying to figure it out, man, because you're right. I don't have snow days. So what is the big deal of having that snow day? Meaning you ain't got to log on to your computer? Is that what we getting out of it? Like if it's a snow day, I'm off. I ain't looking at nothing because you already teleworking, right? So you already at home. You already you already at the crib. You
Uh-huh.
already chilling. So I don't logging onto your computer and checking your email shouldn't be a big deal or whatever. But so it's snow day is nothing though. That what it mean? Like you don't have to
Well,
do
a
anything.
snow day used to be I would put on a sweater akin to like your sweater that you got
Yeah.
on. I would get some hot cocoa. I would turn
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
Christmas story or What a Wonderful Life, and I'm chilling. That was a snow day. Now, first off, I agree. I think that since we telework now, I'm gonna make that clear. I think that since we are authorized to telework, that if it's a snow day, we could just telework. I mean, I believe in that, but that
Yeah.
come with some kind of contingencies because you got to know the weather, you got to have your laptop at home and stuff like that. So I agree, but that's what a snow day used to be: chill, relax. The world could take a break, or just your neighborhood, or wherever the weather's inclement at, could take a little break and y'all could chill. That was a snow day. Now the snow day is business as usual. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 I mean, yeah. That's how I roll. That's how I would look at
Well,
it too, man.
Chris,
I would think of it as business as
you're
usual.
you're somewhere that you could be affected by the snow, right?
No, well, I'm down here in Florida,
Oh,
so
you're in Florida. Yeah,
nah,
ain't no snow.
nah.
Oh
Ain't
yeah,
no
he
snow out
good
there
too. He
either.
ain't worried about
But,
outside.
But
but
what's your thoughts on that?
if you already teleworking, you got the capabilities to work from home,
Mm-hmm.
and snow has impacted, your transit to the ship or to your building or your shop or whatever. No, no snow, no such thing as snow day. You
Yeah.
got capabilities to work from home. No, we're not doing that.
So
Now I will say
okay.
this: I have been in a situation when I was stationed in Virginia, when I was in the shipyard. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the nor'easters up there. And
Yeah,
Virginia
yeah,
is
yeah.
a very low lying area, and it floods out really bad. I have been in situations where you literally cannot get to base because the water was so high. You see what I'm saying? You know,
That's
in
crazy.
those situations, if you can't telework and you got to get to the ship, you know what I mean? it all
Yeah.
depends on what the scenario is. But yeah, like Damon was saying, if you got the capabilities to work from home, no, you don't take no days. Yeah, take leave. Take leave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
That
want to
makes
chill and
sense.
kick your feet up, man.
I saw this. I saw an article where this dude he he got hurt at home while he was teleworking and got workers comp. What y'all think about that? He got hurt at home. So he got hurt going from his bedroom. I think he was going downstairs to his office to telework, or he was on a clock or something like that. But I think it was because they call a trip from your bed to your desk, your commute to work, right? So this dude got hurt down. They said if he was leaving his office and going to his kitchen, that would have technically been his lunch break. He's off the clock. But he was going from the bedroom to the office and he got hurt. And he getting workers comp. He got hurt teleworking. What y'all think?
Man, I think we charting new territory with
Yeah.
the whole teleworking thing, with the way technology is today, to where you can telework from home. Like we chart new territories to where, like, technically, yes, he was on the clock
Yeah. Makes
and
sense.
he got
Yeah.
hurt. If he was in the building, this would be no discussion, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah. It just make us think, man. It just make us like we gotta be like these COVID instructions, man. We just gotta explain everything.
Right.
Everything has to be explained. A, B, C, D, G, everything, dude, all the
Yeah.
way down. You know what I mean? We gotta explain everything and for teleworking too. And I'm assuming they do though, man. Like I got a lot of contractors work with us, man. They are on the clock and they're if they're not at they teleworking and their job every day to do NKO courses if they're not on the ships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they have to do all these NKO courses and stuff. So they're doing something and they have a policy, a teleworking policy, and all. I haven't read it, but I'm assuming it's pretty intense.
Yo, so speaking on COVID instructions, right? Did you read the latest nav admin? The
Yeah,
what is it?
I
The
read it.
28321 or whatever? Did did
Yeah,
you see the
the
flow chart? Did you like so in line with the nav admin, they put out the
yeah.
other thing like the FAQ, the questions and all of that stuff. Did you see that flow chart, man?
I didn't see the flow chart, but you pretty much can if you read that nav admin, you pretty much can flow. It flows on what they doing and what they can do and can't do and all this type of stuff. But I ain't see the actual flow chart though.
I don't know why the Navy does flowcharts, man. Like I
Yeah.
just don't think we get them right, man. Like our flowcharts is be like two paths. It's like if this is this, but below this, you go this
Yes.
way, then
No. This
you go
way. That
down, then
way.
you go
Yeah.
this way. Hey, this flowchart. Whenever you get a chance, man, it's a flowchart. Or whenever anybody get a chance, it's a flowchart for the CCDA, the final approval flowchart. Go find
Yeah.
it. It's more than one flowchart. It's like two. These the biggest damn flowcharts I've ever seen, man. It's about 40 bubbles and like 16 paths, man. We do not
Yeah.
get flowcharts. The oil sample
Yeah.
flowchart. Like we
Yeah.
do not get flow. How many? I've been lost
yeah,
on these flowcharts, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
The when COVID
And
first hit,
you know what? I haven't even seen the flow chart that you're talking
this
about. But
flowchart is
reading that
crazy.
nav admin, that flow chart has to be crazy.
Yeah,
Cause that nav admin crazy.
yeah.
It's like saying this damn near the same thing a million freaking times,
Hey, dude,
man.
I'm
So
gonna send you this flow chart right now, man.
all
It's
right.
funny. I already sent it to you, but you just ain't open it yet. You probably ain't open your
Oh
email.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
says, "Here you go,
Yeah.
bro. I'm gonna bring up this big ass flow chart on the podcast, bro. I hate flow charts." That's what that's what the
That's
email
the email
says.
said.
Yeah, yeah. But it's the refusal to vaccinate flow chart, man. It is crazy, super crazy. So did y'all read this nav admin though? This 28321.
I hadn't got a chance to read it yet.
Hey, so it got into it's a couple things. So if you're retiring, right? If you already approved, because we actually asked this question before. If you already approved to retire or separate prior to 1 June 2022, you will be able to. You will be able to,
Yeah.
and it's honorable. It's regular. It's the regular, the
Mm.
regular deal. So that's an answered question that I think a lot of people was kind of talking about. You know what I
For
mean? So
people
that's
who
there.
refuse to get the vaccine.
Yeah, if you refused, but you already kind of was approved to retire, you still can, right? I'm gonna go over some key points. I'm gonna go over some key points from it right now. For those who refuse the vaccine, the message directs separation process and it provides the necessary procedures for commanders to execute the following. Like I said, allow those who are eligible to retire separate before 1 June 22 to do so with an honorable characterization, right? Because that accelerates separation more efficiently than this administrative process that got to happen. It reflects the reality that we cannot process service members with pre-existing separation dates fast enough with board procedures. Um, it says for those disapproved for exemption, medical, religious, after 7 January 22, they get 14 days from the notification to think, seek advice, and then request if eligible, but not yet approved to retire, separate on or before 1 June. So if you got disapproved, you got 14 days to make a decision what you want to do. If you already getting processed out and you kind of renege and you want to get vaxxed, you could go ahead and get vaxxed and just notify your chain of command and then kind of wait and see what will happen. Um, it's talking about, of course, a key issue with a general discharge is loss of GI bill. That's still a thing. All the other admin stuff that we already talked about last episode is still a thing, but you could get a board. You could if you want your honorable discharge, you could get a board. So it says provides 14 days from notification for a member to seek advice and decide if they will waive a board. For those with less than 6 years of service, they not board eligible, process as honorable discharge. Misconduct still the basis, but avoids characterization disparity when more senior service members may succeed at boards. Conduct admin set boards of inquiry for those with more than 6 years that do not waive a board or whatever. So you could get a board to get your honorable discharge, vice general discharge or whatever.
Yeah, that general is a big deal though. That's the one that's a big deal because general takes your GI Bill. So
Mm.
that was most probably the one people was talking about or looking at. But I do tell the sailors though, anybody that's getting out, make sure you guys look at that freaking chart that chart that tells you the eligibility for benefits chart. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's some eligibility things on there, then there's some not eligibility things. So make sure that you understand it. But my other take on this whole nav admin, man, is that I think the Navy is doing everything they can to keep these sailors in,
yeah.
though.
Well, that's what they
You
saying.
know what I
That's
mean?
what they saying.
They are even giving them extra a little bit more time. Even now, they still said send it to what is the
CCDA.
CC, yeah, CCDA. Now, even if they want to
Yeah,
say for
ASAP.
example they want to do it, your command can still send something to try to get you vaccinated still in time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So they're trying to keep everybody in. And now I think at first they was the talk of the honorable discharge thing. I think that the talk of that and changed now. They're giving a lot more people the honorable discharge now too, instead of just like kicking them out and being like don't have more choice to get their GI Bill. They do have choices now, so I think they trying, man. But it is what it is, man. I ain't only thing I'm gonna say about this whole vaccination thing is that I said it in one of the episodes earlier, man. When all that stuff first started, I said it's gonna become mandatory and everybody gonna have to do it.
well,
And I said this a long time ago, man,
well,
before all this shit came out.
people need to make sure they read the nav admin,
Yeah.
because I might have mishandled some of that information because I'm just skimming through it. But
Yeah.
I'm looking at numbers to say it's around 5,400 active service members um, that that's not fully vaccinated yet. So around like 5,400, and that's like 9% officer, 91% enlisted.
Yeah. And that June date is the date though.
Yeah,
When you read that nav admin, that June 22 is the date. It's a real important date.
So
For
let me get this correct. Do they have until June 1st, 2022 to get vaccinated, and then that 14 days is in effect? Because I know the expiration date was in November, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No,
does
that
that?
June 1st is about if you could if you could retire. Like,
Okay,
yeah, if you could
I saw
retire
that one.
on.
But for the regular folks, they got 14 days from what date? From the date of the NAB admin?
No, they starting to get processed, man.
Okay, this is just strictly retirees, people
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
getting
they
ready
the
to retire.
people
Okay,
that's yeah,
Oh yeah, for the
okay,
1 June.
the
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that's
okay.
able to actually retire. The rest of them, it's the process is starting.
Mm.
You know, from what I've seen, the process is starting. But again,
Yeah.
you know, but it's gonna take a while. It looked like it's gonna take a while. Like it's gonna take a while to board everybody and make sure that we do everything the right way.
So you know what, man? Speaking of this does just a little bit off topic, but it's still talking about COVID, man. And I was talking to one of my friends about this, man, and he's a command master chief, man, and he had a scenario, man, that I thought was like it has to be a tough decision to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone who didn't, get vaccinated, they had to sign this page 13. And part of that page 13 is you can't go on leave and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? And say they have like a family member pass away, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's tough. That's a tough decision. Like you telling me they can't go see their family. Normally in a normal environment, man, I don't care if it's like me personally. Like this is my opinion. If you got your grandma, your great grandma, your cousin, if somebody pass away and we on a short duty environment, I'm gonna let you go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't care who it is, whatever. But you talking about um somebody's grandma or mom are passing away and you didn't sign paperwork and you can't let them go on leave, that had to be tough on a command itself. A command, period. You can't just say you're not going and it's the end of it. That's like real easy for you to do. I don't think I mean no could be the answer because they didn't, get vaccinated, but at the same time it's still gotta be a tough decision to make.
Yeah. But I mean, that ain't like a new theme. Not to sound insensitive to it, but when COVID was first introduced, that was the theme all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That was it. Like, you can't go do this. You can't go to
Yeah.
funerals. We couldn't go to church. So, at in a way, which is again, it's probably gonna sound really insensitive and stuff, but in a way, we kind of used to this at this point. Not being able to go to somebody's funeral and stuff like it's
Well,
not
I mean,
good. It's not
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
It's
But
just
we have made some steps since then, though. Since we first started being like that, we have made some type of steps to people traveling and people doing things since the beginning. But
yeah.
you're
But
right, though. I mean, you're
if
right. I mean,
somebody
we know we know the
if
protocols.
somebody unvaccinated, right, and they go to a funeral, I really hate when we talk about COVID, man. But if somebody unvaccinated and they go to a funeral, I mean, don't they run a risk? I mean, even if you vaccinated, don't you,
Yeah,
you run a risk,
yeah,
right? But
yeah.
now let's talk about this risk for 1 second. I went to see Spider-Man yesterday, right? I went to go see,
I'm going today.
yeah, I went to go see Spider-Man. Want me to tell you what happens in it?
No,
Wolverine
please
is
don't.
in it. Wolverine is there, and Professor X. No, they not in it. But so I went to. It's some surprise. I mean, I don't think nobody's surprised. I think, but I went. So I'm watching Spider-Man, right? So I'm gonna give you two. I'm gonna give you two kind of things. First, I went to the gym this morning, right? Planet Fitness, and which I hate, but I go there. But so I'm at Planet Fitness, and you got to work out with a mask. You got to run on the treadmill with a mask on, right? Which
Yes,
no
let's
sense. So
go.
I'm drenched in my mask, drinking my sweat, right? Like always, whenever, right? This makes no sense, Planet Fitness. All right. I'm at the movies yesterday, right? I go to see Spider-Man. You got to wear a mask, right? However, I could get concessions. So I could get hot dogs, I could get popcorn, I could get all this stuff, right? And they not separating us, right? So I'm sitting in between. It's a full theater. It's Spider-Man. It's the third biggest Thursday opening ever, right? Already, right? That's a movie fact for y'all listening, right? It's third biggest Thursday box office opening ever, right? So it's damn near sold out, right? Just nobody in the front because that's just not a cool place to sit. So I'm sitting next to somebody She's eating popcorn, and like now I'm sick, right? I have a cold, so I got a little cough, and I'm like scared to cough, man. That's funny too in itself. But she's eating popcorn. The person next to me is eating. So while they're eating, they not wearing masks. You know what I'm saying? Like for the whole, they gonna eat popcorn. Lasts a long time. You know, it's like a 2 hour and
Yeah.
21 minute movie, but popcorn lasts a long time. It's pretty much if you eat a whole bucket of popcorn, you got problems, man. Like
Yeah,
there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like you can't eat the whole bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go to the movie theater and you leave it with an empty bucket of popcorn, you need help. You know, first of all, like but I'm saying like so we don't have masks on for I had a hot dog. So none of us like got masks on for the whole period of time. So like I just don't understand the severity. Like I could wear the mask to get in the theater, to get the concessions, but then I can sit down and eat the whole time sitting in between two people and I'm good. But I can't run
Yeah.
on a treadmill where it's probably way better for me to take my mask. I can't run on it at Planet Fitness because of that.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, I agree with you. It's crazy, man. Crazy. On the thought process
It
is
ain't no
crazy for me
what
though.
is the thought process?
Yeah,
What's the thought
the
process?
to let it go.
yeah, yeah.
That's how I look at it,
I,
man. That's crazy.
Like what's
it
I
might
can
sound
what's up? I'm listening.
crazy going back to the Navy side of it. If I don't get my flu shot within the time frame that I need to get my flu shot,
Mm-hmm.
will the Navy then tell me I can't take leave, particularly if it's an emergency? Then
No, I don't think so.
you see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I mean, and I
yeah.
get
The death tolls.
the death tolls and the lethality of COVID, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you though, Damon. If it's an
Yeah,
emergency, if my mother
yeah.
passed away, you see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? If my grandfather passed, you see what I'm saying?
It's crazy, man.
Especially, I mean, you don't know what the circumstances of some of these people's families is. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
if my pops passed away and he was a sole breadwinner in the house, and my mother has to figure out how to deal with the arrangements, and then have to figure out, you know what I'm saying, the bills and stuff, and maybe she need help with stuff. I mean, that's a big toll to ask of somebody, and especially if we've already crossed this threshold of you getting processed out anyway
Yeah.
yeah,
if you don't have it already. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And a lot of us are the people in our families. I mean, let's be honest. You know, a lot of us are when we
yeah,
become sailors, and you know, it's a big margin of us that are. And like you said, you're getting
yeah,
processed out. So now what are we inviting? We inviting that
yeah.
we're inviting that chaos, man. Like somebody might go, go crazy, And now you got it. Now you up against something else, something of more sinister. It's like some more crazy discipline because you went UA or you threatened to go, something crazy like that. So yeah, yeah, you right about that. It's just I I don't know if we'll figure it out, but I can't say that I can't see somebody saying like, "Hey, let's just keep the energy with the flu shot so people could stop asking about the difference." Like I can see somebody
Right.
saying that. Like,
In no way am I trying to compare the two. I'm just saying because this is just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
For eligibility of service, and I've kind of got a greater understanding of this coming from recruiting, working at MEPS. You have to meet DoD requirements for military service, and then you have to meet Department of the Navy requirements for military service. And we all know, I mean, we've heard the cliche: we get 1,000,001 shots, we don't question none of them. So if
mm-hmm,
the Navy has already made it mandated for eligibility of service, I personally don't see what the problem is, especially if the FDA, I know it's an emergency approved by the FDA, but if the FDA has approved Pfizer and the Navy says it's a mandate, to me, it's just another shot that the Navy has mandated. I've had thousands of shots in the Navy,
yeah, yeah,
especially going overseas on deployments, being forward deployed. I don't know how many anthrax shots I done got. You know what I mean? So I am not in no way am I saying the flu shot isn't anywhere comparable to the COVID shot in terms of the seriousness of it. I'm just saying, if we're going to have, if the flu shot is mandated and the COVID shot is mandated, and we're not stopping emergency leave for this, I get it. If it's regular leave, somebody want to take 14 days or whatever, yeah, maybe. They want to go party and have fun. But if somebody dies,
Yeah.
an emergency, this is my.
When you said that, when you talked about that mandate thing, that's like my thing right there, man. Like, but we in a different world now, and me and Dumbo had this conversation about something else before. Like me, my take is, if we have to do it and Navy says do it, I'm more like, shit, we gotta fucking do it. I ain't even really questioning it that much. But I think the new society and the new way of thinking, mostly younger sailors and things like that, things like me and Dumbo talk all the time. Dumbo will question the shit out of stuff. Me, I'll be like, not everything, but most stuff Dumbo I got a question for it. But me, I'm like, man, the Navy said do it. Shit, fucking line me up, put me in the line. You know what I mean? Go ahead and get it done. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing by questioning, because I actually think it's a good thing. You know what I mean? But when they told me it was mandated and we got to do it, I knew that I was doing it. You know what I mean? I may not came out and been vocal about it as much, but I knew when they said it was mandated and we was going to do it, I was going to do it.
Where? Let me ask you, like, where does that stop for you? Like, what won't you do?
Hold up. First of all, when I say
what's up, man?
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
You do, man?
It's a stopping point. It's a stopping point to it, right? I mean, I'm most definitely, I'm listening to what's going on, and I'm thinking about it or whatever. But
like when do you be
if
like,
it ain't gonna hurt me, if it ain't gonna harm me or hurt me, which it possibly could have, but if it's not, if I feel like, in my personal opinion, if I feel like it's safe, I'm gonna do it. If it says the Navy mandated to do it, I'm gonna do it if it's safe. I mean, I feel like, man, like personally, man, I feel like the military or FDA or whoever approved this wouldn't put us in harm's way either, though. Like, if this stuff, like everything we do, it get approved to get. I don't care if it could be like fucking Tylenols.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's approved by somebody to say it's safe for us to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's always side effects. It's always people. Some people have some lining issues or whatever, and some may happen to them. But most of the time, man, like, somebody approved that shit.
No,
you know
I mean,
like,
I just know it's a line. Like,
it's a line. It's a line. Everything. You're right. I mean, it's a line.
So
and I don't know the line, Dumbo. I don't know the line.
It look like Chris. What's up?
So here's my take on it. We've all seen those commercials about the shipyard workers, right? If you worked in the shipyard between this period and this period, call us. You may be infected with asbestos, mesothelioma, all that stuff, right? So this, man, I was kind of like, I don't know how you felt about the shot, Damo, but I was kind of like a lot of people, man. Like, they rushed this vaccination. Normally it takes 10 to 15 years of trials and studies before we get something online. They pushed this. We don't really know what's in it. We got 3 different companies. Johnson & Johnson came out with the blood clot thing. So that whole period while the Navy had us waiting, I'm sitting there saying, well, I'm not getting it. But then the FDA came and said, well, we have approved emergency authorization for the Pfizer shot. At that moment, I realized 2 things. One, the Navy is about to mandate this if the FDA done got behind it. 2, if the FDA done got behind it, I get it. Some people, they like to play the details. If the FDA got behind it, that means that later on down the line, if there is some issues that occur, we know who to go to. Like, we can get on the mesothelioma and asbestos commercials. I took this shot approved by
You'll get that.
One of them.
You see what I'm saying? That's a
You'll
bag.
get that money for your family.
Class
That's
action lawsuit.
That's a bag.
$11.
The Navy made me do it. I had no choice.
$11 check. The Navy Fed. No. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, I hate to get serious because we having a good time, but I got faith in, and I never really get too religious or nothing here, but I got faith in God that my life is in God's hands, and if He want, people were saying like Bell's palsy, and some people did have bad reactions and stuff like that. First, like some of the memes, some of the stuff I was seeing, I just didn't believe. Then I'm like, whenever it's my time, then that's it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
It's,
facts.
it's, it's on God. Now, but I was talking about limits, right? And like that's why I was thinking with Damon, because I was thinking about that story, right? Like, yo, we've never done this before, and we ain't gonna stay here too long. But in the Bible, where God make the dude Abraham take his son up to the mountain or whatever to kill him. Like that's like a limit. Like hold on. Like, hold on, God.
Yeah, that's
Like,
limit.
yo, God,
There's
I've been
limits to it,
trusting you.
man.
Like I ain't really seen you. But
I love
like
you,
this my
but
it's my seed, man. You want me to roast this dude? Like so that's why I asked, if you got, limits or whatever, because
yeah,
you might get told to kill some, God forbid, but a foreign land and there's some children there, you might get told to take the shot. You know what I'm saying? Do you take the shot or do you question it? I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. But all right. So you wanted to talk. I don't know much about the tornadoes.
no, I just wanted to give the shots out on to me. I just want to get shots out to the families, man. Hopefully everybody, safe in Kentucky, the Kentucky area, man. There was a lot of tornadoes, a lot of people died, man. So my condolences out to the families that's there, and hopefully they get the help they need there in the towns, man, because it was really, really freaking bad, man. Like I seen stories, man, people getting thrown 200, 300 feet, man, like in a bed or in a bathtubs or whatever, man.
It's
So
crazy.
I heard like what 30, 40 tornadoes touched down. It was like crazy, man. So my condolences go out to all the people that's down there, man, in that area. If you got family members down in that area, my condolences goes out to everybody.
That's crazy. You heard about the
It's crazy.
like I said, I don't know about the tornadoes, but my condolences to everybody. I heard there was a lot of life lost there, so definitely condolences to everybody. But you heard it's a bizarre story, but it's been floating around the internet. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've seen some valid news articles about it. These monkeys and like going to war with these dogs in this like place in some Indian land. I forgot what land it's in, but it's like a dog killed the monkey, right? So a group of dogs killed a monkey. So these monkeys are now snatching up dogs, pups, and dogs in this neighborhood and taking them to the highest place that they could take them and dropping
And
them
dropping
and
them.
killing them. They killed 250. They wiped the whole village of dogs away or whatever. And people trying to stop them, but they not having that. And ain't none of the monkeys got caught. Nothing like that, man.
Man, how big these damn monkeys
Hey,
is?
I
Monkeys
Man,
was
them
are
just
dogs
thinking
big.
the
better.
same thing, man. They are physically picking the
Shit,
dog.
fucking gorillas. Must be some gorillas.
Yeah, it's right here. It is
Shit.
India. It is India. It says rampaging monkeys killed 250 dogs in India in revenge massacre, man. So it's like murderous monkeys, man. They started a war with the dogs.
Yeah, either some big monkeys or some little dogs.
Now
Hey,
they
you
they
know, they
they
say
pretty
monkeys are pretty strong, man.
yeah, and they a good size too. They a good
Okay.
size. But yeah, that's a crazy little story. But those monkeys ain't dumb, dog. I would just hate.
Hey,
Oh no,
yeah,
no,
I
no,
was
they
just gonna
smart.
say
Yeah,
the
Oh,
same
oh,
thing.
very smart.
yeah. I would
Yeah,
hate
that's
if
what
that
intelligence
happened.
say.
Yeah, monkeys. I would hate if that happened like around here because I don't know what I'd do. I know we try our best to protect, dogs and stuff like that, but I don't want the monkeys coming for my dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
put
might
hands
start
on them
working with.
monkeys,
I don't know.
man.
I might
Man,
have to start working with the
yeah.
monkeys. Like who? What
Nah, I'm
dog?
gonna
Who?
put hands on that monkey, man. I'm
Like
put
who
hands on that
y'all
monkey.
looking
And hey, man,
for?
have you
Like
seen
this
people
ain't.
that own monkeys as pets? when,
Yeah.
when monkeys get tired,
Yep.
yeah, you
Slap
try to
them.
fight that monkey if you want
Long arm.
to.
He
Long
put
arm
slapping the
slap.
shit out of him, man.
Hit you with that
Hell no,
long
I
arm
ain't fooling with
slap.
no
Oh
monkey.
well,
Hell
that
no, I
monkey
ain't
ain't
fooling with
slapping
no
me, man. We got.
A monkey slap you slow too. A real slow
Hey
slap.
man,
Now you ever seen
you
they
see what
skin,
happened to
man?
that? You see what happened to that kangaroo?
You see how thick their
That
skin is,
kangaroo.
man?
Yeah, they
Bro,
skin
monkeys,
thick.
monkeys ain't no joke, bro.
Hey man, that kangaroo had that dude dog. That dude came out there and put hands on that kangaroo, man.
That kangaroo spared
Hey,
that dude.
I take my chances with a kangaroo before I take my chance with a monkey any day.
I ain't messing with no monkey. A monkey will rip you apart.
Yeah,
Monkey will rip you apart,
I've
man.
seen those videos and those pictures of those folks that got beat by those monkeys.
Yeah. And that's a bad thing to say you got beat by too as a monkey. Like it just don't even
I know,
sound
man.
right.
That monkey kicked
A
your
gorilla,
ass,
all
man.
right, that's cool, but a monkey,
Yeah,
like a
Yeah,
monkey.
monkey. Yeah,
That's
man.
crazy.
You right though. Them
man.
motherfuckers got some big ass hands too, boy. They slap the shit out your ass.
Yeah.
I
Big
ain't
ass
fooling with no
fucking
damn
hands.
monkey, man.
You don't want.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
so the government travel card, right? Government travel card. I really don't even want to get into it, except for the fact that it's our primary, way now when we going from duty station to duty station, PCS and
PCS.
stuff
Yep.
like that, right? I don't know if y'all got anything else on it, but it's a
Yeah, I
nav
mean,
app.
I think it's a good idea, man. I don't know all the details about it. You know, people gonna act stupid with it and do crazy stuff and all that type of stuff. But one good thing about me, I travel now, so we do this DTS and we have to use our government credit card. They don't cut that card on until the time you need to use it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the card is like off and you can't use it. So you give them that time period, cut it on. Okay, now you're a PCS and you use your card during this time, right? No interest, no none of that stuff. So in a way, I think it's a good idea. I'm sure people gonna find a way to take advantage of it. But think about the stuff we used to have to wait for. You know what I mean? When it comes to PCS.
Uh-huh.
Now you can go there and you ain't got to wait on anything. You can just swipe that card and do whatever you need to do. So from that standpoint, I think it's a great idea. And on top of that, when we go in there and for DTS, I don't know about how this PCS thing work, but once we put our information in there for the voucher,
Yeah.
man, within like 4 or 5 days, you get that money back.
Mm-hmm.
It's already paid your card off and stuff. It ain't like waiting like forever to get your money and all this type of stuff. So I think it's a good idea, man. It's a good start anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing in a sense because I know people who PC, especially a lot of your junior guys, your E4s and your E5s who got kids and a wife. They PCSing somewhere. They haven't found a place to stay yet. You know what I mean? Now they got to stay in the hotel and they got to come out of pocket for that because that travel money ain't hit, or it
Yeah.
eliminates a lot of that undue pressure and stress on people.
Yep.
As long as they doing right with it,
Yep.
that's the big
Getting that advance pay, you got to pay back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Guess you ain't got to do that no more now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming.
Yeah, man, you can't be staying at the Four Seasons, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Careful,
man.
man. Trying to splurge, man. You know what I mean? But I mean, it is good. That's why I really don't have much to it. I'm gonna get into these nav admins. It's end of the year. For those of y'all that's listening to us now, this would be our last episode this year. Last year we took a break until May. We didn't want to take that break. That's not happening. But we going on break. We going on a little break until January 10th. So the next time you hear from us, it'll be January the 10th. So we're going to talk some end of the year stuff today while we at it, catch up with some stuff like that. But I do want to talk My Navy HR. Shout out to My Navy HR because they actually was able to cover some stories before us, man. I don't know if you know that, Damon, but they put out a couple videos before we were able to. And you could just
Yeah,
tell
man.
watching it. You could tell watching it that the dude was under pressure. Like it was like under 50 minutes. Like, yo, let's get this thing done, man. Let's get this thing wrapped up, man. PTSF coming at the end of the week.
Yeah, man. They taking a look at us, man. They know we put this info out, man. it's okay. Do your thing, My Navy HR, man. Trying to beat us, but it's okay.
You gotta see, it was like so normally, it's like well put together. This dude say, yo, grab an iPhone, man. We gotta get this thing out there as fast as possible, man. But let's get into these. So it's 10 not it's a few, the top 10 nav admins. So it says and it's off that seller to seller newsletter, but it says 2021 nav admin year in review. It says the nav admins we feel will have the greatest impact on your career, so we could kind of talk through them. This year CNP released over 275 nav admins. These cover issues such as family readiness, PRT changes, and COVID-19 policy and vaccination guidance. These are the 10 most impactful nav admins of 2021. So the first one that they mention is 02121, which came out 25 January. Seller Assistance and Intercept for Life Update. Subtle but important changes were made to the critical prevention program designed to help sellers during the 90 days after a suicide related behavior, the period of highest risk.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're talking about suicide, anything like that, man, it's a big deal. So I give them that being one of the top 10. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anytime you bringing up situations like that and trying to prevent it. So okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. I was I
Yeah.
was going through it around that time. Anyway, like that's coming off, the miscarriage, on the trip to Japan and stuff like that. So it was a lot going on with me. I can't even say that I could remember this nav admin. I don't think I remembered it. What about you, Chris?
Yeah.
No, I hadn't even heard of it, man. To be truthful with you, but I do think it's a good thing. The three things I think the Navy really should be very, very serious is suicide,
Yeah.
the DAPA program, and the Semio program. Those are the things. And if they're taking strides to improve the the care that we provide to people who are having suicidal ideations, um, and that's man. I saw something on social media. I don't want to put too much out there. I saw something on social media the other day. One of the Navy groups, some guy somewhere in the Navy that posted some crazy stuff, and like within minutes, man, timelines was flooded with information. Get somebody, get in touch with him. We got in touch with his dad. We got in touch with his brother, and it to me, it's one of the beautiful things about the Navy. I think that we are starting to foster a culture of especially with social media too, man. Let's make sure we taking care of the sailor. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Let's make sure we are showing that we're there for the sailor. You know, how's the saying go? Hey man, don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Navy is coming up with ways of dealing with it, and I think we're a better force for it. So
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
I've experienced the same thing. A seller on Facebook. It was a suicidal ideation, and the naval community, helped them out. Damon?
Yeah. I tell you, man, like you were saying, how we made progress, man. Like we made like mass progress. I mean, if somebody you bring up anything about like suicide, ideation, anything, man, it's like heads start turning, man. Like it's like off. If you don't see duty, it don't matter the circumstances. You going to see somebody, man. No one is putting that on them anymore to say, okay, man, this dude he's faking. This girl, she's faking. No, everything is taken way serious right now. And I remember back in the day, man, people can say stuff like that. Back when I came in, man, we'll go home for the day, take 24 hours off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now that's not happening no more, man. But it's not happening for a reason though, because people out there that have committed suicide and things like that, man. So you're right, man. We have taken great strides in trying to protect our sailors and stuff. So and having policies in place for it too.
That go home for the day is dangerous, man. Um,
Yeah, man. Go home for the day. Go on to take some time
all
off.
right.
You know what I mean?
The
Yeah.
second one from Q1 came out 9 February. It was 03221 CNO message to the fleet. And this was about the extremist behavior. Um, so the statement to the fleet regarding extremist behavior in the Navy. So I think we all remember that one and what it stemmed from,
Yeah.
right?
It's just zero tolerance in the Navy for the stuff like that, man. That's things like that divide us. And one thing the Navy is about coming together, about being a team, about diversity, about all these things. And we can't do none of that stuff if we got things like this in place. So it was a good time to talk about it, even though you still have people trying to backlash against it or whatever the case, why we whatever. It doesn't matter, man. The thing about it is that it's out there. We know it's out there. It got addressed, and we trying to do things to make it better. That's period, man. It ain't pointing fingers here, pointing finger there. It's here. It's out there. You know what I mean? That's why we talking about it. So, yeah, man, I think we are better for it.
I think that's an important instruction. It's one of those things when the SecDef um, General, former General Lloyd Austin, it came into place. It made me look at Navy policy and the CNO too. Um, when he spoke on it, I for the first time I felt like we are really taking these things serious because
Mm-hmm.
I think we knew that some of this was going on, and I don't want to speak for all of the branches because I only know Navy, but I think we knew that there were a little pocket, whether it was like obvious extremism or it was subtle conversations or comments. You know what I'm saying? We knew something was there, and now to say we're not going to tolerate it at any pass, and for it to be exposed, right? Because there were some cases over the past year where there was some extreme groups exposed in the military, right? So we
Yeah.
know that there are some people out there that we were working with that's a part of this. The fact that we're addressing it and actively looking into saying, all right, we know that y'all out there, we not tolerating it. It's that's one of I think that's an important one for me for the year.
Yeah,
That'll
man.
probably
Because
be in the top 5 for me.
yeah,
I don't
Yeah,
care
man. And
how,
who's out there? Who's out there putting that information out?
and I
That was big too.
yeah,
It was big leadership. It wasn't. It wasn't like down to the deck plates. You know what I mean? Like when we talked about it before, and it was our admiral. When our admirals was talking about this. You know what I mean? Putting it out and having a conversation about it. So it wasn't just a. I think on ships they probably had the COs and things like that, but it was the leadership that was talking about this.
now I
yeah,
will say this much. I will say this much. When it got down to command level training, I think some of the consensus that I've heard, it seemed like it was one of those checking the block boxes thing. You know what I mean? So I think we still got a lot of work to do in terms of
Yeah,
how we develop the training. I think it should be a
yeah,
mandated training. A lot of people will probably disagree with me, and I don't care. I don't care. It definitely should be a mandated training, and I think we should improve it. But again, that's
yeah. Because the thing about it is, man, it's an uncomfortable topic. You know what I mean? People don't like talking about it. So that's why it's hard for people to talk about it. That's why I always think when it comes to these uncomfortable things, it should be, instead of being training, it should be more of a conversation. People talking about it, sitting in groups or whatever the case may be, but having more of a conversation that's talking about it. And me and Dumbo always we try to do, say a 360 about more having conversation is just, what I mean, somebody standing up there just quoting off something. And I think that'll make the, like we always talk about, people got to get comfortable to open up. They're not gonna open up if they're not comfortable, right? So it's a conversation that's not comfortable. Nobody wants to talk about it. But once you start talking about it and you having a conversation, you'll be surprised on how much you don't know or how much you do know about the situation, or you'll learn more about your sailors.
yeah, man.
yeah.
And it's just
And I'll say this part, and I'll leave it alone. I agree with that. When I say training, that's the evolution of it. You're right, man. It should be more of a conversation than actual PowerPoint slides and presentations. It should be a conversation because you learn things about people that you never knew. People learn things about you. You can start casting off some of those stereotypes and misconceptions. Man, I literally just by conversation, and I didn't know that this was even possible in America. I had a conversation with a fellow sailor years back, white guy, say he had never seen a black person his entire life until he joined the Navy.
mhm.
I thought that was impossible, but it happens. But we would never know that, you know what I'm saying, unless we actually had that conversation. So again, top 5 for
Mm-hmm.
me.
Yeah, man. It's a difference. I ain't gonna say much, but it's a difference between putting educated people, well researched, well read people in a room together to develop a training. It's a difference between that and getting people of the culture who actually experience the things to have the conversation about it. It's a difference. People connect with it
Yeah.
a whole lot differently. People connect with the ex drug addict talking about staying off drugs and stuff like that, then they connect with the person that never did a drug in their life, telling you to stay off
Yeah.
drugs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Facts, brother.
some triads don't encompass more than one demographic, you know? And I'm not at all placing any judgment on that, but that's just true. Like some triads have one demographic. So it was up. I said I wasn't going to say much, but I was actually one of the chiefs who had to give the training. And I
Yeah.
felt the responsibility. We talked about it on a podcast, so I ain't gonna get too much deeper. But I felt like, as an African American chief, black chief, I have a lot on my shoulders here at this training, and my training might have lasted a little bit longer because I went off topic a whole lot, you know what I mean? And I talked about some things that didn't really come up in that training that was formed, because that training to me and to some other sellers was formed as a response to the January 6th attacks. And then it's like, all right, while we at it, we're going to talk about some stuff that was happening on social media and stuff we need to cover. But I'm like, all right, as a black man in the Navy and who has been in America, let me kind of talk about, some stuff. I've been in the world. Let me not just kind of pin it to America, because I'm a patriot. Because I think I'm a patriot, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I never really understood what the difference. Like, I love my country. Like, I mean, why would I not be a patriot? Like, when did that become like something different? Like I could want the people in the ghetto to have a better life and still be a patriot. I'm in the military shit. I'm a patriot. Um, so Nat Vab is 054/21 5 March. CB Master Chief rating name changed. And I don't think we're going to get too deep into this one. But after an extensive review of the senior listed CB community, the decision was made to create a single rating at the E9 level, CM. That's like CM squared. Now, I love the CBs, and I don't think I could fully represent them right here. And I know some of them is like, this is a win. This is a great thing. I don't connect with it that much. I don't know if either of you guys connect with it.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I'm like you said, man. I know they do. It's a big deal for them, and I applaud them, and I hope it represents something. But right, I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody want NCBs out there that want to make this connection, hit us up. We'll love to listen.
Yeah. I guess your rate don't matter when you make Master Chief because you're not really doing no work anyway.
But you know what I relate this to? The I seaman.
Yeah.
Because after senior chief, like if they pick up Master Chief, they just become electrician mates. Is that?
I don't remember. Is that true?
No, that's not a
thought it was
fact.
eyes.
That's not a fact.
I have a guy that I actually is our SEL is a ICCM.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he's ICCM.
Yeah. Hey, Master Chiefs, we love y'all, but it's kind of true, man. You're not really doing that much work where your rate matters. All right, so 1 April, NavAdmin 072/21. It's probably that one Master Chief that's like still on the deck plates, like mad. Like, I'm working, I'm turning riches out.
Probably not, though.
Yo, the Master Chiefs, man, one day, like, hopefully I make Master Chief before the podcast like really pick up. Because the Master Chief's gonna be mad at me at some point because sometimes we be messing with them. And I hope y'all know I'm just fucking with y'all. But
Hey, hold up though. We had one CMC though, man. Our last CMC on the Raphael Pralta. This dude didn't stop, man. He was always working on something.
Yeah.
I said I ain't gonna say it was all like good shit, but he was always working on something. He had his tool bag, turning wrenches, doing all type of shit. You see some young sailors in the P-Way working on something. Here go his ass in there working on it too. Like,
he was trying to issue out rubber gloves, man. He was trying to issue. I got so mad. I got so bad when he tried to issue the rubber glove. That's my dude, man. That's my guy. But he tried to issue those gloves, man. They couldn't stop messing with me. Hey, Chris, man, my CMC got in front the whole command, and he told them, he was like, "Hey, if y'all want rubber gloves, if y'all need rubber gloves, come talk to me. I got them, right?" So I did like this backdoor drug deal with him and gave him an extension cord and some rubber gloves because he wanted to grind some stuff because we was getting ready for insert. And that was just, and I felt wrong. I'm like, damn, but this Master Chief. Then see the things you know you shouldn't do. But I was like, this Master Chief, the CMC, I'm gonna give him these gloves and his extension cord. He wound up issuing it out like to other sellers. Now, mind you, I'm tool issue. So that don't so I got my EM2. He went to take somebody extension cord one day. And he came back to the shop. He was like, hey, Chief, I went to take somebody extension cord and they wouldn't give it to me because they said they checked it out from CMC. I said, man, go get that shit. Go get that shit, man. Go get that. Bring that back. So, but that's my dude because he just wanted to. Because you know, Tool Issue had hours, but he was 24/7. So there's like now he competing.
Man.
He was
talking
competing
about,
with
about
us.
the best rank in the Navy, huh?
Look, I went up to the captain, and like I always talk about the triads. I go up to the captain. I'm like, hey, sir, like, did you hear what Master Chief just said? He's like, what? He's like, what do you say? I was like, he talk about checking out tools. He's like, okay, what's up with that? I'm like, yo, sir, he can't. It's your electrical safety program. I was just going off about it. And like, this captain's like, all right, well, just talk to him, man. like,
talk to him.
April 1st, nav admin 07221, uniform reg, verbiage change. The Navy released the first of a series of uniform policy changes expected to enhance clarity, interpretation, and application of service uniform policies on the deck plates. This was another one that was like a cultural thing. It came from that task force, and it had a lot to do with taking things out of the reg. Y'all remember this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it, but what I tell you about all the policies and the uniform changes, man, like I think all of them was positive in a way. And then even the newer policy, which I think is coming up also about, you know, the earrings and all this type of stuff. I end up, man, going for it too. I think at first I felt a certain type of way when they said something about, you know, having your earrings on a ship, and then this wise seeing chief told me, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, is it gonna change? Like he said this to me, and I thought about it for a second, and I was like, you know what? Who cares though? You know what I'm saying? Like, they having the earrings on base. I mean,
so you started wearing yours.
Like, how is that going to affect me when I go home at night? Yes. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
So
you started wearing yours.
So I don't wear mine, man. I'm one of the old school cats. Still old school, man. So I ain't gonna do it, man. I feel, and you know what I feel bad about, man? When I came in, it was also a big deal about coming across the quarterdeck and what you got on and what you're doing. Yeah. You come across the quarterdeck. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man, like, it's hard for me to, like, the do-rags and all the stuff that comes across that quarterdeck, man, it gets to me, man. It fires me up. Yeah. And then in a way I'm thinking, like, you know what? Am I gonna lose sleep about this dude wearing this do-rag across this quarterdeck? You know what I mean? I'm not, but I just feel like, why are you wearing that fucking do-rag across this quarterdeck? You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. The earrings the same way. Dude on the ship walking. I went to, so I do inspections on ships. So, man, I got dudes just walking off the ship in the P-ways and civilian clothes, man, with them earrings in, man. I just like, what the fuck are we doing right now? But hey, as I say, man, like, I ain't losing no sleep over that shit, man. They still doing their job to the highest, their ability to the highest. So I'm becoming okay with it, man. I'm becoming okay with it.
This was the one that was taking out words like faddish.
Yeah. That's what this one's about.
Yeah. Faddish was for me, Chris, faddish was a big word, like, to take out. I remember having a conversation with one of my sailors, and it was about faddish. This was before that, like way before that. We was talking about the word faddish and like what it means for real. I'm like, cause it was like, well, is a mohawk faddish? Is this faddish? Is a bald head faddish? Like what makes something a fad or whatever? So that was just a bad word. I think like professional appearance and stuff like that, where some of the other things they started to focus on a whole lot more. But what was your take on this one?
At the risk of sounding sexist, and I'm not trying to sound sexist at all,
that wasn't a good way to start
it. I know, right? But no, I mean, if you've been a first class, a chief, or whatever, you've had females that worked for you And there have always been, well, in my experience, I've had issues with uniform instructions, fingernails or hair color or whatever. And the old instruction was has to complement the skin tone. Well, what's the definition of complementary to skin tone?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
And
Yeah,
so you get a junior sailor that comes back to you and says, "Well, this chief said this, or this first class said this about my," and I'm like, "Oh God, I don't know how to."
yeah,
You know what I mean? And I've had this with male sailors with haircuts and stuff. They chiefs pull me to the side and say, "Hey, is this sailor supposed to have this part in the side of his head?" Well,
Yeah.
like Damon said, if you don't lose any sleep on them, and in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if it's enough for you to say something to me about it, then why don't you just read the instruction,
Yeah.
Chief? I mean,
yeah,
with all
yeah,
due
yeah,
respect, like why do I have to go have this conversation? So I like it because now it's clear cut across the board.
yeah,
Um, you don't have to do no guessing with it. There's no level of interpretation with it. It's as Damon was saying, A B C D E F G, full detail. You know
Yeah.
what you can do. You know what you can't do. So
yeah.
Yeah. And it's it.
And it's still some stuff in there that need to be still clarified in there also. But I feel like we going in the right
Yeah.
direction again though with it though.
Yeah,
yeah,
sometimes you
yeah,
gotta just bust it down. Bust it. All right, we got
Yeah,
that down and we get this. But it's crazy, like what you was just saying, Chris, is like what I took from that, I was having a conversation with my wife yesterday, and she was talking about the patches like for your neck and your arms and like stuff like that. And like a lot of them never complimented like your skin color if you was a black person. Like
mm-hmm.
and as much and that's what I mean. Like we tearing down a lot
what
of those
patches?
like nicotine, like any kind of patch. She
Oh,
got
okay,
like
okay,
a
I got you, I
medical
got you.
patch or something like that. But
I got you.
bandages, packages, and stuff like that. They typically like for I guess like now it's a
Hmm.
big push for them to be brown and complement like. And
Yeah,
Oh,
these
I
are
never
I've
thought
seen
about
that.
that,
Like the
man.
band-aids, they got band-aids like
Yeah,
complementary to the skin tone now.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because these are the things that, like, as much as I never really thought about it or cared about it,
yeah,
I could see somebody being like, it's no, and we talk about it, and I know people hate hearing it sometimes, but like representation, like, yo, there's no representation here. So they things
Yeah,
that we kind of got to go towards. So when I think about that uniform policy, that's what I think about, like being responsible with representation, and I'm glad we are. NAV admin 15921, 28 July. Special leave accrual for the Navy. Sailors unable to take leave due to COVID-19 restrictions now have extra time to use their leave. So that was giving them that extra time for, to disregard that use or lose type stuff.
yep. That was a big deal. I
yeah,
mean, it was okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, people's always thinking about that leave. People, that was some was on people's mind though. They couldn't take leave, so how they gonna, how they gonna,
take
use it.
certain days
So
back from
that
you.
was big.
Yeah, we could go ahead with that one then. 31 August, this the one you was talking about.
Yeah,
18321. The Navy authorized new hairstyles for men and women and changes to wear rules for watches, which we talked about that I don't think nobody knew about. Prescription glasses and sunglasses while in uniform, medically prescribed head coverings and earrings for men and civvies. I'm gonna be completely quiet on this because we talked about it for like an hour. But what was your thoughts on this one, Chris?
Again, like I said, I like the fact that the new instruction is more clear, more forthright in terms of with the hair color. I'm not familiar with the watches, the earring thing. Again, like Damon was saying, like I'm a little old school too, so there's certain things that I kind of cringe at when I see. But
Mm-hmm.
again, at the end of the day, if it doesn't impact performance, and I know that you're a good sailor, you know what I mean? Like and especially if the Navy permits it, right? So my biggest thing is permission and prohibition. If it's prohibited, then yeah, I'm gonna say something to you because I know somebody else might say something to you and it might not be as nice, right? But if it's permission, like I go for it. More power to you. So that's
yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad with some clarification, man. And this is no knock on nothing when I say this. Dumb. I'll make this real quick. We talked about, you're right. We talked about this a lot. I'll make it real quick, but um, being in the black culture, man, we stylish, right? We like style, man. So I'm glad the fact that the watches got clarified, the earrings got clarified. The hair is not all the way clarified, but it's close.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting there. But I like the fact that this getting addressed, because being one of the senior, say African Americans on board a ship, I get talked to a lot. People come talk to me about a lot of things that has to do with our culture, and I'm kind of like the representation of the black people or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have to, like, that's why I'm glad some of this stuff is getting clarified, and now I don't have to, like, but I don't know. I'm not sure. This don't really say this, and now I can just read it black and white. Yep, this is what it says. You good or you're not good. You know what I mean? So that's what we need, man. We need more clarification of stuff.
So, damn, you brought up being black. I was trying not to bring that up, but I'm one day we'll be at a place in this world where people don't associate appearance with lifestyle. But that's a while from now, But we grew up where appearance was associated with lifestyle. So when you see somebody looking like how somebody looks somewhere else, you equate their lifestyle to whatever that other person's lifestyle is, and that was apparent mid-90s when Iverson joined the NBA,
Mhm.
and he appeared to look what like was considered or classified as
Fun
like
rolls,
a
yeah.
thug, and then he kind of changed that look. So a lot of us, when we get in the places that we probably wouldn't normally be, and we get perceived in ways that people that we had to kind of work for, when we've seen younger people coming in with a certain look that we knew that what it represented, was going to make their life harder for them. We wanted to say things and have conversations with them to make them do something different, so they wouldn't have to go through the hardship that just your appearance kind of brings to you or whatever. And I think that's true fact.
Yeah.
Let me say, 2008, I did an IA tour to Iraq, and it was probably about 5 of us from the Navy. We were augmented in with the Army 304 Civil Affairs Brigade. 3 of the guys that was with us were ITs. One of them was an ITC, black guy,
Hmm.
ironically from the same city I'm from, Dallas, Texas. When I tell you this guy had a mouth full of permanent goals as a chief, and this guy was a chief. So I
Hmm.
go out, I do the IA tour with him, come back, don't hear from him for a while. Just in general consensus and conversation, like degrees of separation. Like me and Damo was talking earlier about Chris Robinson, right? We didn't really know each other, but we knew Chris. You
Hmm.
always had those degrees of separation when you're talking to somebody. So I'm talking to somebody that knew this guy, because I'm telling the same story. Dude is now a master chief, ITCM, still got the gold. So my thing is, I've never been one, like I said, if it's permissible, I don't put a big deal on it. If it's prohibited, I'll say something, because I don't want nobody else to say anything to you, you know what I'm saying, in an unflattering way. But like Damo, I hope that this is a step in the direction to where we get to a point to where who cares as long as your appearance looks good, who cares if
Yeah.
it's a cultural deal? As long as you can do your job and perform good, then who cares, man? Let's accept people
Yeah.
for who they are and what they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And
And I think we hit it that way though, man. Like when I came in '98, man, we taking leaps and bounds though. Trust me, it's leaps and bounds, man, on where we was at and where we at now. So I really do think we're going and hit it in the right direction.
yeah, that's Gen
And you hear
Z.
people talk about it more. It's more dialogue, man. More dialogue, more transparency. It's things that's happening now, man. So
Yeah, that's
I think
that's
we're going in the
that's
right
Gen
direction.
Z, man. Gen Z gonna change all that, man. Um, for real, it's Gen Z because they all look alike. They don't look no different. I'm looking at them Island Boys, man. Them Island Boys look just like somebody around the corner from me. Look just like somebody in the Ivy League. Like they all look the same. It ain't really no difference, you know. Hip hop is right now the biggest form of music in the country. You know what I mean? So everybody looks like that now. So I think Gen Z gonna
Yeah.
kind of change that. Nav admin 20221, E80, E9 assignment optimization to better align enlisted supervisors with critical billets that require their skill. The Navy announced the assignment optimization plan for active and full-time support master chiefs and senior chiefs.
My opinion is it's a great idea. Um, because of the fact that you got a lot of people that's on shore duty, or you got a lot of people that's out there that's filling billets that they don't supposed to feel. Put them in the right position, put them in the right spot. And I'm gonna say this, especially the senior chiefs anyway, because the master chiefs really truly a lot of the races they don't have a lot of billets for them.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you make more billets for the master chiefs, that's the only way you can kind of look at that. But from a senior chief standpoint, it's a lot of billets out there that you have either a chief filling or some of them don't have a chief filling it. You know, so and then you might go to a place they got people that made senior chiefs. So then you already got a senior chief filling the billet on shore duty. Now you got 2 or 3 other chiefs that the made senior chief. Now you got 4 senior chiefs over there. You know what I mean? That's over there. Why not put them in a position so they can grow and they can be better and all that good stuff, man. So I think this is most definitely a good idea on all fronts. And it was happening. Like even in my office, I had one. When I seen she was there, she made it. She leaving, going somewhere else to fill another billet. So then on our little DC page, people are leaving and going fill up some of these billets they supposed to be filling. So it seemed like it's happening.
Yeah, I ain't got much else for that one. And then I'll just breeze through because I want to get off of these. The TA policy update, that was a big one. Um, and if y'all got anything to add, just add it. But I'm skimming through.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
CCDA, we talked about that a million times, and then the single PFA for next year. They the last 3.
Well, the only problem I got with the PFA, which is cool once a year or whatever, I don't really care about that, but I do care about the fact of they could have told us that one that didn't really count. They could have told us a little bit ahead of time. You know what I mean, they got us doing that PFA, then say it don't count. You know what I mean? I feel a certain type of way about that.
Hey, Chris, I got a question for you, man. You said at E5, that was your goal.
Mhm.
What kept you in?
Um, I always looked at it it. I always looked at it in stages, right? So my first tour, first 4 years, I looked at it towards the end. Am I ready to get out? 'Cause I remember I told you I had an older brother that was in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
He had got out after he did his first tour. Wasn't really ready to get out. Didn't have no prospects on the line. Didn't take advantage of none of his VA benefits like the GI Bill, none of that stuff, and winded up going back into the Navy. And I looked at it like, man, if I'm gonna get out, my money need to be right. I need to have a job lined up. I need to have school going. I didn't have none of that stuff going at the time. So I was like, you know what? I'll stay in,
Mm-hmm.
re-enlisted. And, in the back of my mind, higher tenure is always sitting there. So after my second enlistment, I always said to myself, well, you still kind of want to get out, but don't get into a position to where if you're not ready to get out, you have to go because you haven't made rank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it kind of became a thing where I just made the Navy an option, always an option I could fall back on.
Mm,
And so I concentrated on studying, getting qualified, doing everything I needed to do to try to make that next pay grade. By the time I made E5, I went to my first shore duty, and that was around about the 8-10 year mark. That's when I started to see things a little bit differently because I'm looking at first classes now. I'm actually close to the first class pay grade, the chief pay grade, and I'm looking around. I'm like, yo, I'm almost halfway in. I'm this close. First class really doesn't seem that hard of a pay grade to me to
Mm-hmm.
to to fit in. And it's like, all right, well, let's make a career out of it now. So that's what kept me in, is always keeping the Navy an option. Um, always making sure I was ready for the next pay grade, in terms of how I was working, how I was performing. And then, it made no sense to be this far in and to give up retirement and all the benefits. And that's no way me telling anybody that that's how you should look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure whatever your choice is, whatever your decision is, you do it. You make sure that you are covered on all bases.
Yeah.
So
But you are ready for chief now, right? You like that's one of the things we connected on when we first was talking too, just about you being ready to put them anchors on.
well, hopefully the board feels the same way you feel.
Right. Right. So yeah,
So
man. Hey, good luck, with that, man. I know it's one of them things that, you kind of been ready for, for a while. So good luck with that. Um it's a financial literacy app that's out. I kind of want to test it out just to see like what they doing. I don't want to get too much into that. Um on a real quick kind of stuff before we wrap is again, this is it for us this year. We won't be back until January 10th. You won't get a movie review from us. Um, However, when we come back, we gonna do Band of Brothers. So Band of Brothers, an episode. So every episode we gonna review another episode of Band of Brothers until we get through this show. Three people did get awarded the Medal of Honor last week. Um, so including the first African American since Vietnam. So I do kind of want to highlight that real quick, at least with their names. So Army Sergeant First Class Alwyn Cash, Army Sergeant First Class Christopher Solis, and Army Master Sergeant Earl D. Plumley. So those three soldiers were awarded the Medal of Honor. But as far as all the big deal, now, hey, Chris, uh, what is it? Like, you got any questions, anything you thinking about, anything that we didn't kind of talk about that you definitely want to talk about before we finish?
nah, man, I think we covered a lot of good subjects today, man. Like I said, man, I told you offline, man. And Damon, I'm glad you're here, man. We together. I appreciate what you guys do with this podcast, man. Like, this is definitely greatly needed. The conversations are needed. I like the fact that you guys pull other first classes in and other junior guys in to, get a perspective on what's going on in the Navy and get a good pulse of the deck plates. You know what I mean? And I want to see this platform grow even bigger and get more of our people, the Navy, our sailors, listening to this and gaining something from it, man. You know what I mean? Like, this is good fruit, man. This is good fruit,
Yeah.
man. And I appreciate what you guys are doing. And I'm thankful to be here, man. I appreciate you guys having me, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming in the capacity that you came in as more like a host. Like we have guests and then we have guest hosts. So you came more in the capacity of a guest host where you sit with us and we cover all the topics together, vice us sitting with you, asking you where you were born and how that drove you to, join the Navy and stuff like that. And I don't think this the last time that you gonna sit with us. I really don't. So hopefully you keep your mailbox open because I might hit you up
Hey, definitely
soon. But
anytime.
yeah, I don't think this is the last time. Um, Damon, you got anything?
Yeah, man. Hey, yeah, hey, Chris. Hey, man. Thank you for coming on to the show, man. First off, good luck on making Chief, man, and just talking with you just for a little while, man. You're well spoken, and you hit the things that I like to talk about, man. When you talk, I'm like, man, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So I like that, man. Hearing you talk, man. So yeah, anytime, man, you need anything, you want to hit me up. We'll keep the little page open or whatever, man. Just hit us up, man. Talk about anything you want to talk about, man. But I do want to touch one more thing before we get off here, man. I was looking at some numbers, man. with hazing, man. The hazing numbers in the Navy that went like tremendously down, right? But guess what? They're coming up. What's coming up is bullying, not just like bullying on a whole nother level, bullying on social media. So just think about that for a little bit, man. And everybody is not created equal. Everybody can't take shit like somebody else can take it. We can go round and round and round about this stuff, but just remember, treat others that you want to be treated, man. At the end of the day, man. So I just wanted to touch that a little bit, man, because it's bullying thing. I was reading this thing about bullying. It wasn't I was looking for, man. I just saw it and I was like, man, what's really going on right here, man?
Yeah.
You know, so I wanted to bring that up, man.
Hey, I got a question for y'all though. Before we leave, I got a question for y'all. Right? Let me get top 3. I wanted to say 5, but we've been here for a while and we lose listeners after 2.5 hours. So top 3 albums of the year for y'all.
Of the year?
Yeah. It's our end of the year episode. We got to do something to commemorate the end of the year.
Shit, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna say, fuck, Nas one. I fuck with Nas. This Adele album, man, is like I'm listening to damn near every song on this Adele album. To tell you the truth, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. And man, what's another one, man? I won't say. I mean, I'm gonna just tell you what I listen to a lot. This probably because I haven't done the research, so I'm gonna throw out the. I know it's somebody else I'm missing, but I'm gonna throw out the Drake album, man. But the Drake album wasn't all that to me. But it has some songs on there that I fuck with, a couple of them. But the Drake, but I know it's somebody I'm missing, man. Let me think for a little bit longer, man. But them 3 right there, Adele, Drake, and Nas. And let me get back with you, man. I know I'm missing somebody.
What about you, Chris?
I'm gonna have to throw Drake out there. I don't think it was his best body of work, but I think by comparison to a lot of stuff that came out this year, it was probably one of the best things that came out. I don't know if this album came out this year or last year, but I've been jamming it so much, man. I really ain't been jamming a whole bunch of new stuff that's come out. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mo3.
Yeah, for sure. From Texas.
And Shot Us Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a hometown thing. I definitely got to throw that in there. It was definitely a good album.
Rest in peace, right? Rest in peace.
Rest in peace,
right?
man. Taken too soon, man. And I don't know if this one came out this year or last year, but that J. Cole album.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about.
That
Why you think about J. Cole? Did it come out this year, right?
Yeah, that was this year.
Yeah. J. Cole album.
Yeah, that J. Cole was serious.
I take off Drake for that J. Cole, man.
Please do. Please do. Please do.
For real.
Nas is hip hop. Nas is there for me. Nas is one of the best. It's a lot of hip hop, like Makami, Cole. It's a lot of hip hop. Like I mean, I'm like hip hop all day. But if I gotta go 3, to me, Nas is the best album of the year. Hip hop. He deserves another Grammy to me. I really like, a lot of people probably didn't, but I like the Kanye album. I thought it was, I got a million reasons why I could say I like it too. But I like Kanye album. I like that Kanye is still, what up? But I like that Kanye is still a risk taker and a lot of things, but I ain't gonna get into that. We can have a whole hip hop podcast some other time. But Nas, the Adele album is dope. And the girl, Cleo Soul dropped this R&B kind of stuff, like deep heavy R&B. Cleo Soul dropped some heat that like I think everybody need to listen to. So that was music. Let's go movies real quick. Movies. Damon, top 3.
Boy, you put me on the spot.
Well, the first 3 you could think of. It don't got to be. I mean, like who determines your top 3?
Movies, top 3.
It don't got to be your top 3. What's just
yeah. King Richard, of course. I mean, I most definitely. Man, come on, man! Don't do that! Don't do that, man! King Richards, man. What shows I'm watching right now, man? What movies I'm watching?
Movies, not shows.
Movies.
The shows is. I'm gonna ask you about shows.
Shit, man. I don't know, man. I have to think for it. Give me a second. Let me think some
What
shit,
about you,
man.
Chris? You watch movies?
Yeah. We going this year or just period?
This year.
I'm trying to think, man. I ain't seen too many movies that came out this year.
Yeah, movies kind of
Venom was
dried
a really
up.
good movie.
What
Venom
movie?
was a really good movie.
I ain't
Venom,
watched that yet. Yeah, I ain't even watched.
Which one?
that new Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that
I
was a
ain't even
pretty good
watched
one.
that yet.
Trying to think, what else did I watch? I don't think I watched nothing this year.
That's
That
crazy.
might have been the only thing I watched this year that was new.
That's crazy. All of the big movies. I did like The Harder They Fall. Right. I gotta pull up a list to actually be able to say anything. So I like The Harder They Fall. I thought The Harder They Fall was pretty dope. King Richard was cool. I just saw Spider Man, so of course I'm gonna probably throw that up in that top three. But the movie's been pretty dry. Like, so my last one is TV shows. I'll start off. It's a TV show.
Well, hold on. I ain't get my. Hey, so if you guys watched the Unforgettable with Sandra Bullock,
Yeah, I watched that.
Mm-mm.
it was pretty good. It was a pretty good movie. And also I think it came out this year too, man. I think Black Widow was pretty good too.
Mm.
Yeah, I watched that. The Sandra Bullock movie, The Unforgivable, right?
Yeah,
About her sister and she got out of jail.
yeah. It was,
Yeah, it was cool. I didn't expect something in that movie. It's like a twist. It's a
yeah,
really good twist. The
yeah.
DMX
It was.
documentary was dope as well.
Mm.
But I could probably go TV shows a lot easier than movies. The one is called Scenes from a Marriage. I thought that was good. C season 2 of C was one of the top ones for me. And I finished Kim's Convenience this year. Kim's Convenience, the last season came out this year. So many shows, but I do want to just say that I think I was just introduced to Kim's Convenience like this year, and I watched all 5 seasons. But the last season aired on Netflix this year, and I really love that show. If that's the dude that played in Shang-Chi or whatever, he went on to go to Marvel. But that was a good show. So I'll round it. It's so many other great shows, like Mayor of Easttown, like everything that HBO does. It's so many great shows that came on. Like I can't even really narrow it down. But I'll just say those three. What about y'all?
Yeah, I went to Mary Easttown too,
Yeah,
man.
that's fire. Fire.
That was a good
That's the
ass
best
show.
show of the year.
Right now, I'm watching this show, man. The Wheel of Time,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I kind of like those type of shows too, like Wheel of Time show. What else, man? That's out there
See
I've been
that C
watching,
season
man.
2, man. Yo, C season 2.
Oh, C is like on the whole. See, them shows right there. That shit is good as fuck right there, man. But I really do fuck with those shows like that, man. Man, it's a lot of shows. You got Hawkeye came
Yeah,
out. I
BMF.
know a lot of people like all that
Oh
the
yeah,
Marvel
The
stuff.
Marvel WandaVision.
WandaVision.
WandaVision was one of the best shows I've seen.
Yeah, WandaVision was real good too, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Mayor of
I
Easttown
don't
is
know
the
about
best
how
show of
about
the year. Mayor of Easttown. If you
yeah,
listening to this podcast, Mayor of Easttown is the best show of the year. It's not a show better this year.
for real, man.
So
I watched it. If you ain't watched that show, man, you get in there. That shit is good
yeah,
as
best
hell,
show of the
You
man.
year.
said
Easy.
it's
That
on
is
Stars,
C's too.
It's on HBO.
HBO. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
HBO.
I even watched shows like the Nevers too, man. You're watching the Nevers?
About the witches. I
Yeah.
ain't see it though.
Well, not all of them. Is all of them
I don't
witches?
know.
Yeah, I
It's a
think.
bunch of.
Yeah,
I ain't see it though.
it's all right.
What about you,
Okay,
Chris?
yeah, that's all of them.
Me and my wife, we just started watching. I don't know if it's still on now, but Godfather of Harlem.
Oh
That's been pretty
big,
good.
heavy.
Trying to think of. I know what my third is. I gotta say my best for last, man. Trying to figure out what my second one I've been watching. I've been binging Shameless. Y'all fool with Shameless?
I stopped it at a
Showtime?
certain season. It's a certain season
Yeah,
I stopped watching it at, and I heard it went
Yeah,
downhill after that. But I stopped watching it at a certain. I watched a lot of it though, probably like 5 seasons of it. But a certain
yeah.
season I stopped on.
That was
Did
pretty
you finish
crazy,
that
man.
show? Did you watch it
Yeah,
all?
yeah, yeah. I watched it
So
all.
I'll
Go
tell you
ahead.
where I stopped, and you tell me if I should keep watching it. So I stopped watching it when Fiona. Like I was happy to watch Fiona come up. She came up.
Mhm.
and then she went down, and it ain't sit right with me, like watching her go down. So like after she owned the apartment, and then when she lost all that and she started drinking and stuff, that's when I
Mhm.
stopped. Should I keep watching it?
So was Fiona still on the show when you stopped watching it?
Yeah. I know she wound up leaving, but she was still on the show when I stopped watching it.
Yeah. So keep watching it because she gets her break. So the way they write her off, they write her off pretty good. So
Okay.
if you went on a downslide because she lost everything, she definitely gets a comeback. But it's a good show, man. The series is still good. The way it
Okay.
ends is real good. If you've been following it and you've been invested in the characters like Frank,
Yeah,
um,
Frank, man. Frank is one of the best TV characters ever. Ever.
yeah, I had a chief that reminded me of Frank one time, man. But and my third one, man, I don't know if you guys are sci-fi fans, man, but I'm a big Star Trek fan, man.
Uh-huh.
So
Discovery?
uh, I've been binge watching Star Trek Discovery, man.
Yeah,
Really
Discovery,
great
yeah.
show.
Yeah. I ain't watch it. It got old girl in it, but I ain't watch it though. But I heard it was good though.
Man, you got to check it out, man. The special effects is on point, man. Like I used to watch Star Trek Next Generation when I was a kid with my pops, man, and
Yeah.
getting older, like they deal
Yeah.
with a lot of. And I'm gonna tell you something. What I really like about it now, being in the Navy, the structure of the show, like the crew and everything, almost reminds you of Navy structure. So it's
Yeah.
got a buy-in to it for me. You know what I'm saying? And the subject matter, the topics, man. Y'all gotta check it out, man. It's a really good show.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
check it out.
for sure.
Hey, did y'all watch? Y'all both saw the show BMF, right?
I seen an episode. I
Y'all
gotta
gotta
get
watch the
started
whole
so I can
season.
start watching.
You ain't seen any of it, Damon?
Mm-mm.
Watch BMF, Lamar, man. That's all I'm gonna say is Lamar. BMF,
Yeah.
Lamar, probably the villain of the
Why
year.
a lot of people talking about this what is it, Yellowstone or Yellow something?
Yeah, I mean that's Kevin.
I hearing
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
I don't know what it's about though. People been talking about it though.
Kevin Costner's in it, so it gotta be good. If it ain't
Is that on Netflix?
Waterworld, nah, but I think you can watch it on Hulu. It's either on
Okay.
Prime or Hulu. Let's be responsible. It's so easy to just look this up real quick. But
Yeah, Yellowstone. I guess it got 4 seasons
yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm hearing so many people. Succession and Yellowstone is like the two shows that I'm hearing people talk about so much. Oh, it looked like it's probably on Paramount Plus because it's a Paramount show. So it looked like it's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a Kevin Costner, so I'm sure it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner don't do
Most
no
definitely.
wrong, like I said, unless it's Waterworld.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, but that's it. See you guys next year. Again, thanks, Chris. There you go, Damon.
Sure, man. Yeah, man. Thank you guys, man. We out of here, man. Peace out. Have a good holiday. Holla at your boy. Mississippi stand up.